And we're live.
We're officially live for episode number 52 with a special guest, Adam's best friend in the world, Ricky Aguilar. How you doing, Ricky?
I'm doing good. How about you guys?
Very good, very good.
Excited to be here.
I was saying, you know, there's a special bond between the two of you guys. There's a special.
It's like Step Brothers. It's like Will Ferrell and John C. Reilly over here.
Yeah, something
you know
like
the
that.
scene where they're like hitting yourselves with shovels and killing each other and burying each other?
Yeah.
That's us, Ricky. But in the end, did we just become best friends?
Yes, we did.
That just happened.
I think it's important for us to say that it was Ricky's birthday yesterday. So happy birthday,
Thank you.
Ricky.
I appreciate you guys.
You know, if for everybody that's following the podcast right now, why don't you put Ricky's Instagram account below? Go wish Ricky a happy birthday. Give him a follow and wish him a happy birthday on his Instagram
Ricky,
account.
how young? How young are you now?
33.
33. Same age as Jesus, bro. It's
a magical age.
Yes,
It
it
is.
is.
It's
Yeah,
a
it is
magical
What
age.
were you doing when you were 33, PBD?
I was.
Where were you in life?
I was running the company, and I had no life. I was going 100 hours a week nonstop.
Well,
at
what's
33.
changed?
Nothing's
33, 42, what's the freaking difference?
Nothing's really changed.
Where do you see our friend Ricky when he's your age? Where do you give me the vision 10 years from now, 9 years from now?
I think Ricky's one of those guys that he can be a generational leader to impact the Latino community. That's what I think Ricky can do because he is extremely relatable. He's not the guy that comes with a degree. You know, from
He
the
didn't go to
right
Harvard.
schools, not like you.
Oh, yeah,
He's not a
right.
3.8 GPA with you. And what did Adrian's? Adrian was like what? 4.8.
Adrian was like a student night award. I mean, that guy's a brainiac.
Well, it wasn't
My best
Ricky.
friend.
That wasn't Ricky.
He's Mexican as well, bro. You'd like my
I
best friend.
went to a California-funded facility, but it was not college.
That's right. You did.
Yeah, well,
Something tells me you were working out in the yard quite often.
yeah,
by
that
the way,
was
the
many
oth-
years ago. Many years
Funny
ago.
story.
Former
here.
life.
The other day, I hold an emergency Zoom. Okay, with our leaders. Okay, no joke. Look at him laughing.
Emergency press
I'm not even kidding
conference.
with you. So I said, guys, we got to have an emergency. We're doing this video, whatever we were doing the other day.
Yep.
So everybody starts getting on. Ricky gets on. Except Ricky doesn't have a shirt on. I'm like, no joke, no shirt on. I'm like, Ricky, you okay? He says, yes. I said, what's going on? He says, I'm getting a tattoo done. So we had to
Getting
wait.
my back done, yeah.
We had to wait for Ricky to wrap up his artwork before we shot the video. It was a very interesting moment.
How many tattoos you got?
Well, I'm fully covered. I'm my chest,
tatted.
my arms, my legs, my back.
When does it stop?
It probably won't. It probably
Okay,
won't,
but Ricky,
yeah.
do us all a favor. Don't touch that beautiful face, bro.
No, I won't. I
You
won't
put
be
something on
touching-
that face,
no,
we're
I
gonna have a
won't be
major
touching-
You're not going to pull off a Tyson?
No,
You're not going to
no.
go one of those?
What do you think about all these like Gen Z hip hop like trap rappers with tattoos on the face? What do you say to these kids?
You know, it's funny because I actually thought about that. I thought about it probably about a month ago. I think that it's making them millions of dollars right now, and then I'm thinking that what's gonna end up happening later on the road when they have their families and they're grown, is they're just gonna remove them. Well, actually, 50 Cent removed some of his tattoos because
From his face? He didn't have a tattoo.
No. He removed because he said businessmen don't have tattoos. So he removed some of his tattoos. So I think that's what they're gonna end up doing.
But you're doubling down. You're getting more.
Yeah, but I'm not gonna go. For example, I have my sleeves done.
Yeah.
But you can't. My sleeves are 3/4 sleeves. So see, they start right there.
Yeah.
So anytime I could always be in business attire, and I'm never gonna not. You know, and I make it a point to not go.
So you're like business
higher.
in the front,
Right.
Party in the back.
Party in the back. There you go.
You go to Hawaii,
Yeah.
Ricky walks around in Hawaii without a shirt on. I mean,
Yeah.
it's ink
Yeah.
everywhere.
They probably think he's Samoan of some capacity.
Yeah,
you know?
It's funny. It's funny.
Look,
'cause,
I got
you know,
bad news for you, bro. I don't think you're going to be able to be buried in a Jewish cemetery.
Probably not.
I don't
Probably
think that's going to
not.
be able to happen because
Yes.
you can't have tattoos because, you know.
How did you get yours, though? What's the story with your tattoo?
My tats?
Yeah.
Oh, man. It's, the penitentiary, bro. It's in California and, some rough stuff happened.
No, the last person that's going to get a tattoo is you.
Yeah.
I don't see you getting a tattoo.
I'm not anti-tattoo. I'm just not pro-tattoo. You know what I'm saying? There's things, I'm not like, I would never, but there's nothing that has inspired me. If I did get a tattoo, the one thing I thought about was like the yin-yang sign. Not like the yin-yang twins, but the...
But leaning to the left, like the
Slightly left.
Got it.
Slightly
Yeah.
left.
got it.
Yeah.
So the people are going to try to paint me as a leftist, Marxist, communist.
Well, let me ask you a
But
crazy
we'll go there.
question.
Yeah,
Here's
let's
a
go
crazy question
yeah.
to stop, but we got a lot of different topics.
course.
But I
So you
wanna
wanna go down the list?
I want to. Let me give
Yeah.
the list, and then I'll ask a crazy question,
Sure.
and we go through that. So,
We're going to have a good time.
President Trump dropped 298 spots in Forbes ranking, according to the magazine on the world's billionaires. Kim Kardashian is officially a billionaire. Tim Cook says he doesn't expect to be running a company for a decade from now, meaning he's not going to be there. And his strategy on dealing with Biden will be the same as dealing with Trump. Then we got a story about Goldman Sachs predicting a big evolution in the way Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies are regulated. Goldman says it, Dalio says it, Yellen, your best friend, says it. Something's going on there with crypto and regulation. Amazon is snapping up disused shopping malls and turning it into fulfillment centers. Amazon has a quota. This is a great story. I can't wait to get into this one. Amazon has a quota for the number of employees it would be happy to see leave each year. Employees say that's a big reason Amazon's culture feels cutthroat. The fact that they're okay with people leaving, yet some people think it's cutthroat. We're going to talk about that. JP Morgan Chase CEO Jamie Dimon says remote work can undermine the character of a company and lays out the bank's plan for the future of the office. He also says economic boom fueled by deficit spending, vaccines could easily run into 2023. Tesla assures China the cameras in the cars are being turned off. You know, China's freaking out with that. Where is Kamala? 2 weeks since being named border Caesar, Harris still hasn't visited the border. Okay, we're going to show you a couple videos here that's going to be absolutely difficult for you to watch if you haven't already seen it. Another story with Putin. Putin signs a law allowing him to run for 2 more terms as Russian president. It's a tough law for him to pass. Why would he sign a law like that? You know, but he ended up passing it.
It's a sexy law for that guy.
Relocations from San Francisco to Texas and Florida jumped 30 to 46% in 2020. In close constellations with partners and allies around the world, Biden administration will weigh 2022 Beijing Games for U.S. Caitlyn Jenner is reportedly considering a run for California governor. Adam wanted to know if you would vote for Caitlyn over Newsom. We're going to talk about that. I don't know if you saw the lizard in the store in Thailand. We'll talk about that lizard. Anti-capitalism protester that takes a beating, falling. It's a very difficult video to watch because his ribs. Rough. You're gonna see this kid falling. Yeah, have you seen this or no? His ribs. You're gonna react to the ribs, and what happens after?
Pat had a rough reaction.
Yeah, there was a reaction. And Big Short, one of my favorite guys. Yeah, when he talks, I'd like to see what this guy has to say.
Michael Burry.
Michael Burry from The Big Short quits Twitter, disappointing his legion of retail traders, superfans, and Piers Morgan to Tucker. Trusting Markle is like believing Pinocchio. She's spinning future kings of England. Okay. Now, you guys were having a debate earlier.
Yes.
The debate was, is there a communistic country? What would to help me out with that debate right there? If there's a country around the world that's communistic or not? Yeah. Because apparently,
if the name itself, if they name themselves communist, that's not good enough for Adam. You know, he says they're not a communist, even though it's what is the republic?
The People's Republic of China, also known as the CCP, the Communist Party of China.
The Communist Party of China. Yes. So apparently that's not enough. You know, they don't identify as communists, even though they're communists.
But let's define it, actually, because let's define what is 100% communism. What is communism?
Yeah. Should we look it up for our followers?
Yeah. So what is communism?
Sure. What is communism?
The definition of communism, correct me if wrong, is there's zero private ownership.
What is
zero? Yep. Everything is controlled by the
communism. Okay, so yes.
A political theory derived from Karl Marx, advocating class war and leading to a society in which all property is publicly owned and each person works and is paid according to their abilities and needs. So essentially,
a classless society.
100% tax.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, there is 2 sides to communism, right? One is control. They tell you whatever to do. The other one is on the business side. Economically, politically, right?
Yes.
China is politically communistic. Yes. Economically, they're still allowing, but at the same time, notice also what's happening with China lately. If you get a little too big, what are they doing to Jack Ma's of the world? You're getting a little too much voice. Hey, give us control back of this. So at any point, the difference between there and here is they can at any point come and take control of any business they want to. You can't say nothing about it. They can come in and do it anytime.
Well, we've seen what they've been doing with Jack Ma and everything they're doing with the Ant Group.
All day long.
I totally agree.
All day long.
Well, but the thing is that you said that communism doesn't. Venezuela did that. There's actually videos where there's a man, because I was speaking to Vanessa right here, which is a credible part of the Valuetainment team, and there's a video where I think it's Chavez or Maduro, he's literally going, he says, what is that? Oh, they sell jewelry. Take it. What is that? They do this. Take it. That's communism. That's communism. So to say it doesn't exist, actually, I think the champion. What just happened?
Whoa!
So the communist guys,
Good on the right side.
On the right side. So to say that it doesn't exist. I'll get it. There it is. Okay. So to say that it doesn't exist.
It's the biggest guy we've had in this chair. Maybe that's what's going on.
You know, it's crazy because we've seen it in action. As a matter of fact, the champions of communism are from Venezuela.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, even
Well,
Cuba,
Venezuela is an absolute freaking mess.
Venezuela did communism the right way.
Did they?
Yes, because they ruined the country. How do you get one of the richest countries in the world with oil and literally ruin it? You know, they have more money than, they have more oil than United States, they have more oil than Mexico. And by the way, Mexico is, to a certain extent, have a socialist president right now, which is AMLO.
Pull it up first.
And he's, that's just insane. You know?
Pull it up first, the other side. Ricky, let's switch
Oh,
this
let's
because you
switch.
got to
Okay.
be comfortable.
Sounds
okay,
good.
so let's switch that because if
Thank
that's
you,
the
sir.
one that drops.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's
you
switch
set
it.
me
That's
up.
much better.
I knew it.
That was
Dude,
By the way,
I knew it.
brilliant move on your end.
Gotcha.
6 o'clock in the morning, he was here setting
I
up
was
the entire
here.
chair.
I said, all right, Ricky's going to make his point on communism. Drop it low, drop it low, drop it low.
So look, let's
Yes.
skip this part.
Yeah.
Look, are either of us fans of communism? No. Okay, I was just simply saying that even China,
But one of us
the
votes.
CCP,
One of us votes closer to communism than the other. That's for sure.
one of us, okay, you want to go that route? All right.
I'm just
one of
saying,
us
bro.
also votes closer to QAnon than others, but
no.
we'll be okay.
No.
Look, one thing we should establish from the get-go, Ricky,
Let's do that.
is I like things in moderation, right? If you're too far to the right fringe, I don't fuck with you. If you're too far to the left fringe, I don't fuck with you.
Yeah.
I like to keep things in between the 40s, as if our friend Tigran Bekian is listening. This is something we talk about all the time. Keep it between the 40s. Maybe you move the ball a little bit to the left, maybe you go to the right. Anyone that's hanging on the goalpost, like people who used to maybe be on this show,
Right.
I can't get down with. I'll call out an AOC just like I'll call out a anyone on the right
Rubio.
who is no, Rubio's not all the way to the right.
Right, no, he's
Cruz
not.
isn't all the way to the right.
No.
But
Who is all the way to the right?
who is all the way to the right? I mean, that's a good question.
Who is actually all the way to the right?
On the Louis Gohmert from Texas. Louis Gohmert.
All the way to the right.
He's very far
No,
right.
hold
Okay.
on. Let's talk about who's far right that actually has a voice. AOC has a voice. Omar has a voice.
Hey, listen, she's playing the game.
Bernie Sanders
she's
has
playing the game.
Bernie Sanders has a
He's
voice.
playing the
No,
game.
but who has
you
a
can't get mad
who
at
has a
people
voice on the
who
right?
have a strong voice and a strong
Who
opinion
is a
that
radical-
people will listen to.
who has a- who
you have a
is-
strong voice and you have a strong
no,
opinion.
no.
I'm not
But
going to get mad
who-
if people want to follow Ricky Aguilar.
No.
You got a strong voice, bro.
That's not what I'm saying. My
Okay.
question is, who is influential on the right that is far right? Influential, not some person that you know that everybody on watching us has to go look up. You don't have to look up AOC. Everybody knows who AOC is.
She's playing the game.
Okay, I get that, but what I'm getting at is that who's so radical far right that is influential.
Who's far right that's influential?
It's actually a very good question.
Who's very, very far right?
I
think
well-known figure that's far.
Is
that's
Lindsey
far
Graham
right.
far right?
Lindsey Graham? No, I don't think he's very far
Is
right.
he a voice for?
I think our friend Donald Trump had some far right tendencies that he is not very far right, especially socially. Maybe he's got some authoritarian qualities, but he brings out people on the far right. So
authoritarian, or he just was speaking for the Americans that are tired of the BS? Which one is it?
A little
Because
bit
that's
of
a different
both.
question.
A little bit of both. Well, listen.
By the way, if you're watching this, help us
Yeah.
out here. Who would you say is the person that's the
Who's
most on
very
the far
far
right?
right?
Somebody said Ben Shapiro, but he's not a
I wouldn't even
politician.
He's
put
not a
Barry
politician. He
Shapiro
doesn't
very
have
I
a
far
wouldn't
voice.
say
right.
because he called out Trump as well. Who
Yeah,
would you put
100%.
as far right politician?
As a matter of fact, Ben Shapiro in 2019 or 820 was the #1 target of the alt-right. So you can't
Of the alt-right.
of the alt-right.
The
so
alt-right isn't even far right. They're off
that's
the map
even worse.
right there. Yeah.
That's even worse. So that's what I'm getting at. Ben Shapiro he didn't even vote for Trump in 2016.
Like a David Duke, and not that he's far
What
right.
I'm getting at though, Sauce, is that you have to dig for those people, and they're not even big known figures. The far left has a lot
Mitch
of them.
McConnell?
I don't think.
I don't think any of these are extremely
Okay,
far right.
by the way, that makes a very
But we
good
can-
point, by the way, because if you think about it, let's put a chart, right? Okay, let's just put a chart here. Okay, I'm going to put the line here in the middle. This is a simple, independent person, okay? I'm going to put the libertarian here,
Yeah.
okay? I'm going to put the libertarian here. I'm going to put the Democrat, say here, okay? Let's put socialist here, okay? Let's put communist here. Is that fair?
Yes.
Okay, let's put Republican here, and then far right here. Okay. All right, where would you say, if we say this is the independent, right in the middle,
Yes.
okay? Libertarian, we got plenty of them.
Right,
Rand Paul is
100%.
one of them. Let's put Rubio, let's put Cruz here,
Yes.
Republican. Let's put Trump here,
Yes.
okay?
Agreed.
Where do you want to put Obama? Obama's here, or you put him a little bit here?
I would put him in the middle between Democrat and Socialist.
Okay, where do you put Biden?
I think he's a Democrat. I think he plays a role of a socialist, but I think he's a Democrat.
So as well. AOC.
100% socialist between socialists and communists.
Sanders.
Same thing.
Who do you put over here?
There's nobody big figure.
It's a great
you put like a Jeff Sessions there. Yeah, Jeff Sessions.
Who's that?
Jeff Sessions. We're talking about. What do you mean? Who's Jeff Sessions?
No,
he was the.
Adam, we're talking about people that have a voice.
Jeff Sessions does
not have a voice. Does not have a voice.
My grandma knows who
Ann
Coulter.
is.
Ann Coulter's very far right, yeah.
Okay, so now
but she's not a politician.
How about Dinesh D'Souza? This is the comments
right.
that's coming up. Candace
Owens.
Owens.
Pretty far right.
Candace Owens.
She's right, but not far right.
No,
got it. It's interesting. It's interesting to see.
Well, thank goodness that there's not people very far right that we can't think of.
Let me put it this way.
I'm thankful of that.
You know what's crazy? People think that far right is we want our gun rights, right? We're pro-life, right? No, they're pro-life. Believe in God
I was finding
and liberty.
You're pro-life, but I'll kill you if you
but how is that far right? It's crazy that everything's got pulled so to the left that just regular conservative values are now far right. You know, like if it was some type of nationalist type thing, you know? It's insane.
So who's far right? I'll tell you who was far right.
It's pulled so left, but now a regular conservative seems like it's far right.
Trump's ear. What's his guy's name? Steve
Bannon.
Steve Bannon, Breitbart a little bit, but there was also the other guy, the bald guy. Jesus, what's his name?
The fact that you're thinking about him, he's not a big name.
No. You
have the graph you just did. Yeah. It's crazy. Let me explain to you what I mean, Adam. People that are here think that this is the middle, and it's not.
Stephen Miller.
People that are here think that people here are far right.
I don't.
Meaning between Democrat and socialist, they think Republican is far right.
Yeah. It's not.
Yeah.
So to them, if you go, the line is here, independent.
Yeah.
The left has pushed the line
Ricky,
so far left.
Where are you?
That this is where they're at.
Where are you on this chart?
I'm 100% Republican conservative.
But where on this chart?
If you had to, I'm right here. This is where I'm at. 100%.
Pat, where are you?
Pat's an independent. He's always said that. Well, I don't want to speak for Pat.
I'm a registered independent, but I'm probably more here libertarian because to me, it's.
Let me see that.
Go ahead.
Okay. You're here. You're saying
I'm right
Ricky's
here.
Yeah.
You would say that I'm somewhere around here, on certain things. But fiscally, I'm closer to here.
No, I don't think you're here. I think you're here. I think you're to the right of Democrats. I don't think. I think you're Manchin. I think that's exactly who you are.
Who have I been saying for a year that is like my favorite politician?
I think that's who you are. I think that's who you are. And in certain areas, I think you go on the right. But if it comes down to this question, I asked him the other day. I asked him a question the other day. Okay, I said, as much as you hated Trump, okay,
I got to correct you. I've never used the word hate.
Fair enough.
I said I don't like
Trump. As much as you dislike Trump, okay, and you look at the character. I said, if Biden were to come out,
I heard you ask him that.
100% tax rate.
Right.
Okay. Would you still have voted for Biden? You said what?
Anyone that comes out with a 100% tax rate, I would not vote for.
So then the question would have become, what percentage would have been the one that would have been the tipping point?
Well, are these marginal tax rates? Is it over a certain amount?
I mean, what's going up? You're talking about wealth tax, corporate tax.
Or more, right?
You're talking about wealth tax, corporate tax, capital gains. You're talking about estate tax, every tax. There isn't a tax. There's no new tax.
They don't hold back.
There is no tax that is not being taxed. Everything is going to be.
Well, we covered this last time. Taxes are the lowest they've been in history over the last couple decades.
But the point
in the 40s, 50s, and 60s, taxes were absurd.
You know,
and that's where under Republicans as well.
I did my monthly private webinar yesterday with the what do you call it? The folks that are from around the country, say 40 different countries, CEOs, entrepreneurs that run their businesses. I said, pay very, very close attention to taxes. So many times we work and we're not even paying attention to taxes, right? So many times we vote, we don't pay attention to taxes.
I agree.
See, to me, taxes are what's really going to hit everybody, right? Because it's logic, right? Yes. Yep. Emotion is, I can't believe what he said. I can't believe what she said. I can't believe what he did. I can't believe what happened there. This is not fair. That shouldn't be happening. That's emotion. 90% of the time, people vote emotionally.
Yes,
correct. They don't vote logically. I think taxes is something people have to pay very close attention to because the direction these guys are pitching could affect countries around the world as well, not just the U.S.
You said that you were going to do a board episode on taxes.
We got paper on top of paper with articles on taxes that we're looking at right now. I'm not going to do it for the next couple of weeks, but I'm going to be doing it because when I do a topic like that,
you got excited about that. This is
100%.
Even when we
100%.
Was Byron on the show?
Byron was on the show when we did the whole.
There were some things you weren't even necessarily familiar with and how high the taxes were.
Well, no, when I went back and looked. But when I went back and looked at the numbers, what 90% tax bracket was at $200,000, which is today's $2.5 million year income. We're not talking about 90% taxing $200,000 people today. They're talking about $2.5 million of income back in whatever year. Very few people make that kind of
Hollywood
income.
actors, Reagan. That's why he was so motivated.
But the point I'm trying to make to you is the fact that the number was a number that touches a small percent. I haven't paid myself $2.5 million. I don't know. I don't pay myself $2.5 million salary. These guys know how much I get paid. My CFO told these guys how much I get paid, right? So the point is my money comes from a different place. It doesn't come from my salary. So mathematically, it may seem like, but they were doing 90% tax, and it's such a great, but if we can get to 90%, we can get there again. Doesn't work that way. You got to tell the full story. I want to go dig deep to do the full story. It may require me to read a couple books before I do this video because that's a topic that I think we need to pay very, very close. Unfortunately, when you put a title taxes, guess how many people want to open it and watch a tax video?
Right.
Hell, nobody wants to watch a tax video.
Yeah.
I got to almost put like, what do you call it? The sex, drug, and rock and roll and taxes.
I have a great idea.
Yeah. Actually, we have to do something. Think about it. Guys actually thinking sex, drugs, rock and roll, and taxes.
The only certainties in life: sex, drug, rock and roll, death, and taxes. There it is.
Go.
Let me ask our friend Ricky, because this is talking about being a moderate. I'm from Florida. In Florida, we're literally
Must be nice.
Exactly. It is very nice.
Yeah.
We're a very purple state, meaning we can go left, we can go right. We kind of keep things in the middle. We got, I went to college in Tallahassee, which is in the northern part of the Panhandle. Very more conservative part of the state. Lived there for 4 years. Down in Miami, a little more liberal, but a lot of Cubans who are Republicans. So there's a mix of everything. So we're not too far left and too far right. So even tax-wise, there's no state income tax. I mean, obviously, this is a big topic that we talk about right here. There's no state income tax. There's no city tax like in New York City or anything like that. So for you, that does very well for yourself. Congratulations. I see the numbers. I see the numbers. You could smile now. Happy birthday. You live in California.
Yes.
You make a very high income.
I do.
At what point is the taxes too much for you to say, you know what, I can't deal with this crap. I'm paying 40% federal tax. I'm paying 13.5% state tax. I don't know if there's a tax in Bakersfield for just,
no, it's
whatever.
Actually,
but like this is a legitimate question for you, bro.
Luckily, it's we're very blessed that Kern County is a conservative county. It's ran by conservatives.
But you live in a very liberal state.
Right. Yeah, you're right. That's a good question. I've never experienced that. So I'd be very hypocritical for me to sit here and give you the answer to that. To what would be too much?
Gotcha.
Right? Because that's something actually you guys know that Pat's my business coach as well. So that was something I would consult. Like, hey, at what point is it time to go? Because he has the experience in that. So, but I mean, even 40%. I mean, for people watching. 40%, that means for every dollar you make, they're taking 40 of it, 40 cents.
Not necessarily true, but go.
Well, what do you mean?
It's because it's marginal tax bracket. So your first,
yeah, but when you start
$50,000,
you asked me about California.
Yeah, okay.
When you start adding the state tax, it's not marginal anymore.
Effective tax rate.
Of course.
About, yeah.
I mean, you're talking about it's a whole different ballgame.
But point is, you pay a lot of taxes in 100%. California. But for some reason, bro, you've stayed because there's benefits you're getting of being in California, whether that's, loving the
right now it's just because that's the majority. 95% of my business is there.
Well, that's my point. There's business, there's economic, dude, you could go skiing in the morning and then go on the beach in the afternoon, whole thing. California's a beautiful state, but at what point is enough, too much?
That's true. It's a good question.
So,
well, I mean, the exact premise of what you're saying is what the California politicians use to say nobody will ever leave, because it's like the way you kill a frog is what? You don't just go 212-degree temperature and you put him in boiling water. Slowly but surely you kill him out. He doesn't know he's getting killed, right? However, today there are a lot of people in California who are aware of what's going on and are leaving.
Yes.
Since 1990, 3.5 million people have left the state of California. The percentage on the data, matter of fact, since we're doing this,
San Francisco,
I was going to go into immigration with Kamala, but let's go into the stats about.
I would like to touch on that though, for sure.
We will.
We're 100% don't worry about that, bro. We're going there.
Let's talk about relocation from San Francisco to Texas.
Yeah.
Okay, specific city that they're talking about is
San Francisco.
San Francisco to Texas. 6. So if we look at that on page number 6.
Yes.
Relocation from San Francisco to Texas.
Página 6.
Okay. Relocations from San Francisco to Texas, Florida jumped between 32 to 46% in 2020. Fox Business. The COVID-19 pandemic accelerated migration from the U.S. in 2020 compared to 2019, but particularly from large urban areas like San Francisco and New York to Sunbelt metro cities like Austin, Dallas, Charlotte, according to a study published by the CBRE Real Estate Group. A summary of the study notes that many of those who left these cities may return once the pandemic is over. About 135,000 more people left California in 2020 than moved in, making the third largest migration loss in state's history. Several large California companies, including Oracle, Hewlett-Packard, and Enterprise, moved their headquarters to Texas. These are big companies, by the way.
Yes.
To move your headquarters to Texas in 2020, and Tesla's Elon Musk moved to Houston in December. Tech executive, including Palantir chairman Peter Thiel and former PayPal executive Keith Rabois, recently moved to Miami as the city's mayor Francis Suarez attempts to court the big tech players to South Florida. Suarez nicknamed Miami the capital of crypto and capital of capital in two separate Tuesday tweets. We were at the event when he said those things. Yes. Ricky, your thoughts?
It makes sense. I mean, it makes sense for them. Why would you want to stay in San Francisco where they literally have a map, a crap map, right? Where they have a map to where people take the most craps in the city. And so you can walk around it.
San Francisco has it.
Yeah, did you know that?
Kai, go to San Francisco crap map.
Could you bring us the map, bro? I got to know where to step.
It's a ship map. It's it's a San Francisco. We're looking up right now. Crap map, San Francisco. Images of crap in San Francisco.
Look at the first one.
Yeah, it's a, so you.
But that's not true. Go to the second one. That shows you right there.
Right, and where the homeless are taking.
Unbelievable.
So they have a crap map.
Poop maps.
Yeah.
This is ridiculous.
It's a poop
to have
map
like that.
You didn't know they had it, Pat?
I'm no
surprised.
idea.
Yeah.
I had no idea.
That's where you can go to take a crap,
San Francisco.
or that's where people
No, brother.
are...
No. That's where they're doing. That's where they're handing out needles for the drug addicts, so they don't pass HIV to each other, whatever the case may be. So, but
how far is this from Silicon Valley? How many miles?
An hour, give or take. Yeah, I have a team up there, so it's about an hour. Give it about an hour and a half, maybe at the most, depending on traffic. So going back to
what you're saying is you're not surprised.
No, 100%. Well, forget about what does it say? How
32
far?
miles.
Yeah,
San Francisco, Silicon
Half
Valley,
hour,
32
bro.
miles.
Yeah. So
if Pat's driving, it's 15 minutes.
Well, yeah, especially in that Ford. So with traffic, it's about an hour. But so to answer your question though, Pat, it doesn't surprise me. First of all, because of the conditions. San Francisco used to be it's still a beautiful city, beautiful sights. But when you live there, you're dealing with these things. It's different to go there for the day and go with your family to live there, right? That's number one. And then on top of that, number two is when you're dealing with they did a $15 an hour minimum. If you run a business, you can't afford to pay people that, plus workers' comp, plus that, plus have a profit, right? So yeah, it only makes sense that people are leaving San Francisco. As a matter of fact, in Bakersfield, where I live, in Bakersfield, California, we had a big migration of people from San Jose, San Francisco, Vallejo, Salinas moved down to Bakersfield because the housing rate was a lot cheaper and it was affordable to live. So now I'm not surprised that they're moving to Texas. 100% makes sense. If you live in California, you'd understand why they're moving.
By the way, give you a crazy statistic here. I was doing a video yesterday about moving to Florida. Okay, why I chose to move to Florida, et cetera, et cetera. And the video actually gives you reasons why I chose to move to Florida. It's coming out probably next Tuesday it'll come out, right? One of the stats that's absolutely staggering is the following. How many total homeless people you think we have in America? Total in all of America.
Can we do an over-under?
Yeah, give me an over-under. How many total homeless people? First let me give you total U.S. population as of right now. I think it's 330.
I was going to say 350. But
okay, U.S. population is at 328. In 2019, it was 328. Let's say it's 330. Okay. At 330, how many homeless people you think we have in America?
I would say I'm going to go with 1 million, Pat.
Okay. What do you say it is?
2 million.
Okay. So both of you are off. According to the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development, which is the HUD, 580,000 homeless people in America, which, by the way, you figure there's probably more, but that's the number that they have registered, right? Let's just say 580,000 people that are homeless. You know how many of that 580 is from California? 160, give or take. 160.
1/4 of it?
1/4, a little more than 1/4 of all the homeless people in America
are from California.
Are from the state of California. Do you know during the pandemic, just in the city of L.A., not California, homelessness increased 20,000 people in the city of L.A. 20,000 people in the state of L.A. homelessness. So Are you surprised that people are leaving California to move to Texas or Florida? I mean, how confident was Suarez at the dinner the other night? How confident was he?
Got a shout out to Francis Suarez, mayor of Miami. The guy's swaggy to begin with.
I saw his picture. Oh my God, the guy's a supermodel.
He looks like a supermodel. I told him.
We took a picture with him.
Yeah.
I've interviewed him before. He's just a solid dude. But when you're the mayor of Miami, you're already in a strong position to begin with. You're the freaking mayor of Miami. But now during the pandemic, everything that's been going on, do you know how much confidence and swag you can develop and even increase?
Right now.
You can play offense. You can recruit. You can say, listen, what the hell are you doing in California?
That's right.
He took a shot at New York, no problem, saying, look, they're already a mess and they're trending in the wrong direction. Come on down to Florida. I mean, his famous tweet was to the big tech Silicon. How can I help?
Yeah.
How can I help?
Yeah.
And he is helping. Like he said, he wants Miami to be the capital of capital.
So maybe let me ask the question a different way.
What does he lean, Pat? I'm sorry. What does he lean? What way does he lean?
Center right.
Center right. Got it.
Center right. As a mayor, it's not really too much
is he
political.
Cuban? Is he
like, listen,
Yes,
somewhere it says Democrat, somewhere it says conservative. But I would put him as a center right guy.
Okay.
I would put him as a independent guy.
Conservative, socially liberal.
Yeah, that's the best way to put it. But here's a question for you. Here's a question for you. Say pandemic is over with. Pandemic is over with. Everything's back to normal. Everybody got their vaccines except Ricky and a couple other people, right? Let's just say the vaccines got everybody being comfortable, right? Yep. Except for a small community. That's not going to get the vaccine shot. Unless
50% of Republican men.
Unless if they force the passport ID, there's going to be some people getting arrested because some guys are just not going to do it. Yep. It's just going to be, you're not going to be able to get everybody to get the vaccine. But okay, let's just say most people get the vaccine. Fine. What percentage of people are going to move back to California? That's the question. The moment somebody moves out, what percentage is going back and saying, okay, things are clear, dust is settled, I'm moving back to New York. I'm moving back to California. What percentage will go back? So the most important question on things like this is how much of this is permanent?
Yeah.
How much of this is temporary damage control? What do you think?
I mean, look, this is all just sort of speculation, but I think if you're moving, you're making that decision to move your family, especially if you have kids. If you have a family and kids and you move, you're gone. If you're a single guy, do you know how many single people I know that have moved out of New York into Miami? Literally every single friend I know. Where are you from? Where are you from? Where you live? Where you live? Oh, I was from New York. I'm just down here for a year. It's a lot easier to, if you have flexibility, if you're single, keep it moving. Obviously, I've been moving around for the last 10 years. If you've got family, you've got kids, and you got to roll them in school, and you're maybe buying a house, like you're gone. That's it. A lot of people from California move to Nevada, or they move to Arizona, or they move to Tennessee. Some people obviously to Florida. I would say the vast majority, let's say 80% are gone. Maybe 20%
80% are gone.
If you're families with kids, you agree?
So.
Disagree?
No, I agree with you. I actually agree with you, Adam. I think that
we got a first. Ding, ding, ding. Can I get a?
I know. I think that what ends up happening is that, like, for example, I travel a lot. So I get to see a lot. When you don't leave California, you don't realize how, with the laws and all this, how bad it is until you go to another state. You're like, you can do that? You're like, yeah, we can. How much you pay in taxes? Oh, wow. You start opening your eyes to a different world. So I think that once you open your eyes to a different world, you realize that schooling is better. You realize that your Second Amendment is not being infringed on. You realize that, the government is just kind of leaving you alone. Do your thing, build your business, and we're going to leave you alone. When you go to, you go to red states and it impresses you, you're like, I can live like this. In America, you don't realize, in California, you don't realize how much of a chokehold you have until you leave California. You don't realize that you can't do this, you can't do that, you can't do this, you can't do that, we can do this, can't do this, can't do that. Until you go to another state where they're like, we don't really care what you do, just don't kill anybody and we're good.
Just don't kill anybody. Well, I think obviously the pandemic exacerbated all of this because now it's acceptable to WFH, work from home, work from anywhere. It's completely acceptable. So if I asked you a year ago, 2 years ago, Ricky, what are the chances that you're moving to Mississippi? You'd be like, bro,
no.
Zero.
No.
Now, if you can work from anywhere and you can own guns and work from anywhere and be left alone and low taxes, you might consider living in a state that in a million years you would have not considered.
Right. 100%.
Not to call out our Mississippian friends or Alabama or whatever.
You know what's hurting some of these states? Here's what's hurting some of these states. So, for example, say Twitter says, moving forward, nobody ever has to come into the office, right?
Right.
I'll say, I want to work for Twitter. Okay, great. Work for Twitter. But I want to work for Twitter living in Texas, living in Nevada, living in Nashville, living in Tennessee, living in Florida. But I want to work for Twitter. Twitter says, no problem. You're hired. You're a coder. So I live in Florida, but I work for Twitter, but I don't pay the taxes of the state. It doesn't matter who's paying me. I'm paying the state tax of where I live, which is what? Florida. So a lot of these companies in Silicon Valley and New York who went out there and started saying what? Oh, we're hiring people virtually. You don't have to be here. They actually hurt the state. They're actually
the
hurting
state that they're based in.
Of course, because you
Makes
pay
sense.
taxes based on where you live. You don't pay taxes based on where the company lives.
But Pat,
You pay,
in
yes.
some cases they've also said, I know at least early on they said, oh, you won't have a Silicon Valley rate if you don't live there. So they're paying proportionately depending on where you live.
Sure, they are.
So
Yeah.
in that sense, it's saving them money possibly
To get,
as well.
yeah,
They increase the talent pool.
but watch this. But what does that do? Think about what that does. Again, who does that hurt?
The state.
Whether they go lower or whether they go out of state. You know who else that even hurts even more? People living in America. Because I can now hire people. If I'm going 100% Zoom, why the hell am I paying U.S. rates? Why
you can
wouldn't
go
I Twitter go
international.
hire engineers out of India, out of Philippines, out of Armenia? These places are producing some of the best engineers. Why am I even paying full price here? I'm not going to pay full price. So a big part of New York and California, what they did, they indirectly changed the business model on how even Silicon Valley and these financial companies are working. This is not as small of a thing as people think. The consequences of certain things you do, sometimes the side effects takes a decade to experience it.
Right.
I think this is going to be a side effect that's going to take 5 to 10 years for us to really see what happened. You're going to sit there and say, what the hell? For example, you go to Glendale. Where are Armenians at? They live in Glendale. Where are Syrians at? They're in Torlac. Where are Venezuelans at? Maybe Orlando.
They're in Miami.
No, a lot of them are Orlando, Miami. Where are a lot of Cubans at? Okay, you'll say Miami. Where are Puerto Rican? Where are Dominicans at? Where are Irish
Bronx.
at? Where are Italians at? New York. Why? Because once one community moves to a place, they typically tend to stay there unless if you treat them what? You treat them bad, and then they leave, right? So they have to know this could be a shift taking place right now, and some of it is not done by politicians, believe it or not. Some of it is done by these
corporations.
Who are leaning far to being, hey, you can work from home, do whatever you want to do. They're hurting the state just as much as the policies in the state are hurting the state.
Right.
But do these corporations actually care about the state? They care about their company. No?
Well, but here's the thing. There used to be a time where you would be like, hey, I want to have my headquarters in New York. Why? Because New York has the best what? Talent pool, right? I don't want to live over here. Why? Because now, guess what?
The talent pool is everywhere.
The talent pool is
Exactly.
everywhere.
Right.
So you can no longer say, I'm in New York because the talent pool is in New York. Nope, that's not the case anymore.
Isn't that like the best thing for capitalism, though? There's no restrictions.
It's a fantastic thing for
100%.
capitalism. It's a beautiful thing for 7 states. But it hurts states like New York, California, and Illinois.
Well, New York can either adjust or fall by the wayside.
They're not going to adjust. They just impose another $4.3
well,
billion
then
of
people have
taxes.
decisions to make, obviously.
And by
right?
the way, they just imposed another $4.3 billion of taxes by Cuomo, and they have to impose it. There's nothing they can do about it. The state's going to go bankrupt if they don't get that $4.3 billion. So Cuomo's people are sitting there saying, if you don't raise this $4.3 billion, guess what? How the hell are we going to get? We need this money here. So he's in a pickle himself. He's in a lot of
I'm surprised they haven't recalled him.
Cuomo?
Him?
Yeah. A lot of
efforts being made.
A lot of people in California are just waiting to see what's going to happen with Newsom before they leave. Like I know a lot of people have their finger on the trigger. They're just like, okay, if we don't recall him, we're out, because he has 2 more years on his term. But I know a lot of people that are like, they're just waiting. They're just waiting to see what's going to happen with this recall, and if he gets recalled, they're out.
Listen,
If he doesn't get recalled,
I
they're out.
hope somebody from a little bit more libertarian independent gets elected so they can change the policies. I hope everybody's sick of it. I hope everybody is sitting there saying, listen, man, we tried this
10% of
for
the recall was 10%
Democrats.
were Democrats.
Yeah.
We're
Well, what do you
moderate
think
Democrats.
about your future governor, potential governor? Of
No, that's not even.
California?
That's a joke.
Caitlyn Jenner.
No, that's not even.
That
that's
could
not,
be
no.
your next governor.
No,
it's
no.
not. It's a
No,
story.
bro, no.
Would you
It's a
rather have
topic.
Caitlyn or Newsom?
No, none of them.
Well, if you had to vote,
No, I don't. I'm not,
Ricky?
no, I don't even want that. That's bad. That's bad. That's bad.
she's a Republican.
No.
She's running as a Republican.
No.
Caitlyn.
Okay, that's the irony behind it,
Why is
right? You think that the community is going to vote for him? If
For
that
her,
was
for her, Ricky.
for her,
Get it straight.
for her, if they were to, because
Versus Newsom.
well, because remember, Republicans bad, Republicans anti-gay. Remember, supposedly according to everybody.
Not according to her.
Well, according to everybody, that's the way it is. Forgetting that Obama was open against gay marriage and Trump came into the office supporting gay marriage. So, it's kind of funny how the news knows how to, spin things.
Why don't we go into that story?
That's kind of...
Which story?
The Caitlyn Jenner story.
I'd rather go to the Kamala Harris story.
Okay, fine.
I'd much rather go to the Kamala Harris story.
Caitlyn Jenner is considering running for governor.
Yeah, I mean, listen.
As a Republican.
The question then you have to ask, if we have Pete Buttigieg, which is openly gay mayor, and look at
smart guy.
super smart guy,
of
look at the
course.
kind of responsibilities he's being given. Is America ready for a Caitlyn? I don't know. Maybe California is.
No.
But I want to show this, Kai. Can you pull up the videos of what was shown? I'm almost certain Ricky's seen this one here. If you can make this bigger. Okay, so this was just shared last week. Border Patrol video showing children being dropped from border wall. Now watch. It's a little disturbing for parents. If you're watching this, just take a look at this. Go ahead, Kai. Took him all the way up to the wall, to the gate. Look at that. How old is that kid, by the way, Ricky?
3 and 5.
Oh, they said it 3 and 5?
3 and 5.
Look at that. Look at that. Look at the one. Boom. How far is that drop? 6 feet?
No. Oh,
Longer than
no.
that.
14 feet.
Holy moly.
It's a 14. It's like them dropping Dylan in Senna.
Oh, my gosh.
From a 14-foot wall.
Look at the kid is still laying on the ground.
Yeah. I think they dropped the little one next. I think that's the 5-year-old, and then I think that's the 3-year-old, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, buddy.
Or something like that.
Give me a break.
Or the other way around.
Ooh.
Yeah. And they throw whatever package they gave. And by the way, Pat, let me. Here's the reality behind things. And then they ran. Here's the reality behind things. This happens every day.
Mm-hmm.
They just happen to catch it. Mm-hmm. This happens every day. I
So
live
this
4
is
hours
nothing
from.
new
No,
here.
of course not. Especially right now. I live 4 hours from the border. I lived in Mexico. I went to school in Mexico. We're very familiar with what happens in Mexico. One thing is to, and by the way, not by, and I mean this with all due respect, not by whitewash Mexicans that watch the news and think they know.
Right.
We have family there. We have family in Tijuana. We have family at the border, Mexicali.
Yep.
We know what's going on. We go visit there. Our families, the Mexican families, like for ours, our grandparents' doctors are there. Like, we're always there. We know what's going on. The Mexican community knows what's going on with the Mexican community, right? So to me, it's interesting. And I'm not because it is your right. It is your right to have your opinion. I think it's very interesting when non-Mexican people want to have an opinion on what's going on with the border when they have no family there, no direct connection, no phone call. Hey, what's going on? That it's like me having an opinion on a country that I've never lived in. And then, like when I want to know about a certain country, I ask the person. Like I talk to your sister, tell me about, what's going on in Iran, what happened. I talk to you about it. Mm-hmm. I don't know, right? And I could try to read articles all I want that are edited by somebody else that has also no freaking idea on what's going on and think that they know what's going on. So, the reality is this happens all the time. And the Mexican community, we knew this was going to happen. We knew it. And on top of that, it's music to the cartels. It's music to their ears. They said, open borders, let's go. It was the stupidest thing ever. Everybody wants to seem like they're, everybody wants to seem like they're woke and thinking that was a good idea. It was a horrible idea.
Why? Tell us why.
33% of women. Okay, so the more south you live of the border,
Yeah.
the women are being raped and murdered. So 33% of Mexican women are being raped. 35% are being murdered after they're raped. Okay? So when they're coming up by coyotes, 33% of the women are being raped.
By coyotes who are helping them cross the border.
Coyotes.
Got it.
Of migrants or of all of Mexican women?
No.
Migrants?
I'm sorry, migrants. I'm
Okay,
sorry.
gotcha.
Thank you for
That's
correcting me.
a
Thank you for
ridiculous
correcting me.
stat,
Thank
yeah.
you for correcting me.
Yeah,
Okay?
yeah.
Thank you for correcting me. The women that are coming up to the border, they're being raped by the coyotes or by fellow
Migrants.
Migrants, okay. And then that number gets worse the more down south you go. For example, if you get into the states of Chiapas, Yucatan, Cancun, people that are migrating, the more south they come up. Mm-hmm. Salvadorians are notorious. By the way, shout out to Salvadorians. I love them. Two of my compadres Salvadorians, my close friends. But Salvadorians, notoriously, immigrant Salvadorians, hate Mexicans. Because when they're crossing, they go through Guatemala and they get treated normal. They get into Mexico, they have a rate, give or take, of 80% of their women being raped. Because now they're in Mexico illegally. So they have two options from the the federal police, state police, and the military.
Can you show the map so everybody can see
so they
this
can
thing?
understand.
Just put the map of South America.
South America. So what ends up it's actually Central America.
Central America.
So what ends up happening is that these agencies are giving them one of two options. Either A, you have sex with me, or I arrest you and I deport you. So they've already done the traveling. See, there you have Guatemala, right? You have Belize, El Salvador. So if they have to go through, especially Salvadorians. So they go through Guatemala, they're cool, right? Because they're neighbors. But once
They're coming from where, Ricky?
They're coming from El Salvador.
From?
Imagine
I'll give
you're
you
in
an
El
example.
Salvador, you're trying to bring your kids or your
Right.
family to U.S. You
So-
have to go through Guatemala.
So
And you also got to go through Mexico.
right.
obviously.
So what ends up happening, you go through El Salvador, right? And you go through Guatemala, they have to go through Mexico. But remember, the Salvadorians and Guatemalans are entering Mexico illegally.
Yep.
So once they come across across a law enforcement agency, Mexico's corrupt. So you have one of two options. Either A, this is going to happen, or B, we're going to arrest you and deport you. So that's why illegal immigration hurts Hispanics. It hurts them because our women are being raped and a lot of them are being murdered. I have a girl on my team. She's no longer with us anymore. She's doing a different career. But she sat in front of me and she's like, I have trust issues with my boyfriend. I'm like, why? What happened? She was breaking down. She's from El Salvador. She was 15 or 16 years old, raped by 5 different men in Mexico. So it's like, it's people are like, they watch the news and we should open the border to everybody. You don't know the damage you're doing to these people. And on top of that, people seem to think it's not just your Uncle Juan that wants to come mow lawns. It's the human traffickers, the organ traffickers, the child traffickers, the sex traffickers. There's more people in trafficking than there's people that want to come work. Does that make sense? So people only think one category. My Uncle Juan that wants to come mow lawns. No, my boy. Behind him is 6 other traffickers of different organizations. It's not just your Uncle Juan that wants to come mow lawns. Does that make sense? But the media will never say that because they need the votes. And Mexicans, typically Hispanics, are very emotional. When you touch, right? And then what's the excuse for me? My parents came here illegally. But your parents came here illegally. Also, does that make it right? Should I not care about these people now that I understand how it works? Should I just keep my mouth shut? Or should I be an advocate for the truth? The truth is our women are being raped and they're being killed and these kids are being trafficked. They're grabbing kids and they're taking the organs out of them and selling them in the United States for people that are dying, old people that are dying, that are rich, they can afford these organs. So it's like, you just saw it happen. By the way, that's one image. If the border...
Play the other video with the kid that got yesterday.
They abandoned him.
Yeah, they
That
abandoned
happens all the time. None of this is new. But we know this.
Have you seen this?
Yes, I have. With a like 10-year-old kid.
Who was the guy that found the kid? Can you fast forward a little bit?
Is it border control?
It looks like a truck. If it's a Ford, yeah, more than likely it's going to be border patrol.
Look at this.
Body camera.
¿Me puede ayudar?
¿Qué pasó?
Es que yo venía con un grupo de personas y me dejaron botar y no sé dónde están.
No sé dónde están. ¿Te dejaron solo?
Pues claro, me dejaron botar.
¿Te dejaron solo botado?
Solo.
¿No vienes con mami o con papi o con alguien?
¿Ah?
¿Vienes con tu mamá o tu papá?
Nadie. Yo venía en un grupo que venía de entrega con usted y al final me dejaron botar y venía aquí a pedir auxilio.
¿Te dejaron botado y te dijeron que vinieras a pedir auxilio?
No, yo vengo porque si no, ¿para dónde me voy a ir? Allí voy a dejar y tal vez me pueden robar, secuestrar o algo.
Te pueden robar.
Tengo miedo.
¿Tienes miedo?
Sí.
Ahorita vamos, ¿ok?
This happens all the time. This happens, and we know it. The Mexican people know it. The ones that actually sit there and understand what's going on. That's why so many,
Can I go back
so
to
many,
the map?
so many first generation Hispanics are turning conservative, and they're because we're not sitting there in front of Univision listening to Jorge Ramos talk about how evil the border is. We know what's going on. The guy's just turning a blind eye. The idiot knows what's going on, but of course you got to get the ratings up. Right? And you got to get the ratings up by talking about what gets people emotionally. He cares about his career. He doesn't care about the Mexican people. You know what I mean? He's a sellout.
Let me ask you, Ricky. Forget about just for a second the U.S. border, because as I'm looking at the map, and anyone can see this right now, if you're coming from Honduras or El Salvador, that ain't a short walk.
No, brother,
to go
it's not.
through all of Guatemala, to go through
I'll put it to
all
you
of
this way.
Mexico, to go through Mexico City, to even make it to the border of Texas or California, Arizona, is a ridiculous trek. So walk me through the process of someone who's leaving El Salvador. Because this is not a U.S. issue at this point. This is a Mexican issue. This is a Mexican issue.
Here's the hypocrisy. Ready? Here's the hypocrisy. The Mexican president, when the first caravan came up from Honduras, had the entire military at the border to stop them. It's funny. They talk about Trump is bad and racist because he wants to build a wall. Yet the Mexican government sent all the military down to South Mexico.
Why doesn't Mexico build a wall?
They have a wall.
In the south?
Kai, can you pull up the video
But
where the
Mexican
Mexican military was holding back the caravan? Mexican military holds back the caravan at the southern border. Watch the hypocrisy. Okay, so at southern border, let me see if there's is there images? Let me see. Okay, there it is. The go down, all of them. But there's a border there. They had crossed. That's the Mexican military. Well, Guatemala blocks thousands for U.S. The hypocrisy, the freaking hypocrisy. Here we are mad at the American government, but yet here's the.
Watch out with the channel. Watch out with the channel.
So here's right there. Like for example, any of those pictures right there, right? Guatemala blocks Guatemala security forces.
What border is that happening on?
The Guatemalan border, because remember they got to go
Guatemala
to Guatemala
and Mexico.
And then they got to go
this
to
isn't
Mexico.
even a U.S. issue at this point.
No, it's every.
So at the end of the day, isn't this a Mexican issue more than anything?
Every country's sovereignty is being violated. Not just the American one, but of course Jorge Ramos is not going to tell you this. Univision, Don Lemon, AOC won't tell you this. They're not going to tell you this.
So give us some solutions that you think, because obviously it's a problem. Whether you're Republican, whether you're a Democrat, whatever you are, it's a freaking problem.
Yes.
And whether it's Obama, whether it's Trump, whether it's Biden, no one's figured out the solution. Give us the solution.
Look,
in your opinion.
Here's the reality behind things. The reality is this: every country needs to take care of their people. Okay, so maybe to a certain extent they got to get better at electing the president and start being so emotional. The reason that like for example, the president of Mexico, AMLO, he's a socialist. He's a Bernie Sanders of Mexico. How did he get voted? Emotional. Mexico's rich. So is Venezuela, by the way, with oil.
Well, they used to be, but
with the oil, right? So what ends up happening? You got to stop voting emotionally. You know, a lot of people like to blame America for the problems in other countries. We didn't tell them to vote the way they did, right? Like Maduro, Chavez. We didn't create Chavez and Maduro. They created themselves, and then people voted for them because they spoke nice. Everybody likes to blame America for other countries' problems. I have this conversation with liberals all the time. Oh, Venezuela's going to say, it's because of America. No, bro, it's because of them.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay, it's not our fault.
No.
Okay, stop it. Right?
I don't know who would think that it's America's fault that people are
many
voting for.
do. Many
people are voting for.
Many do.
I don't know many Americans who know what the hell's going on in
Many
Honduras.
people
What are you
do.
talking about? What are you talking
You know
about?
a lot of
people do.
Americans who are very vocal on Honduras elections?
There are a lot of Americans that say that's the work of America. America did that to Venezuela.
And because
America did that
Jorge
to Mexico.
Ramos took that stance.
No, I don't.
Yeah.
And that's why he says that's why we have to take them. Right? So
What's Jorge Ramos is on Univision.
He's a Don Lemon.
What's his approval ratings among Latinos?
Bro, they love him.
They love him.
He is.
He's. I'll put it to you this way. I said it the other day, and I'm gonna tell you guys right now. Pastors no longer have priests and pastors no longer have power over the Hispanic people.
Jorge Ramos.
Jorge Ramos.
You don't know who he is? You know who he is.
I know who he is,
Yeah.
but the audience should see him.
So now pastors and priests no longer have power over the American people.
With the J.
With the J. Jorge Ramos, right? This is a sellout. This is a sellout. So anyway, here's
but Latin Americans love him.
a lot
Latinos.
of the old school ones. The first generation, like myself, no longer do. So his approval rating amongst our generation is going down, but a lot of people like him. Right?
So give us some solutions. Back to solutions.
I don't know if there is a solution, but here's the reality behind things. People, here's look, bro. I lived in Mexico. Like I said, I lived in Mexico. I went to school in Mexico. Just small periods when I was there with my dad. Okay, people in Mexico, they're gonna show you images of like bad. We can show you images of people living in tents in LA and make it seem like that's the whole United States. Okay, people in Mexico don't starve to death. People in El Salvador don't starve to death. People in Guatemala don't starve to death. That's just the truth. And some of the viewers may not agree because they watch too much news, okay? But they don't starve. I have family there. I have aunts that are missionaries that live in those countries. People don't starve.
But why are all these
Africa.
people
Hold on.
Yeah.
It's not Africa. They're not starving to death because they still have social programs, because they have money, because oil, United States gives them money. So they're not starving. You don't see with kids their ribs coming out. You just don't. So the reality is the solution is stay in your country till you can fix your papers and then come. Because it's too dangerous of a road to take. You're gonna be the chances of you being trafficked, you being killed or raped are too high. But of course, they're never gonna show those numbers on the news.
But brother, let me ask you. They're not starving to death. I'm trying to work towards a solution. Not that we're gonna figure out a solution here. why are all these people leaving their countries? There's got to be obviously a lot of corruption, a lot of gangs, a lot of murders that even want to leave. I don't know many people that want to leave their country unless there's something going bad. Pat's family would have never left Iran if Iran was still run by the Shah.
Bro, it was war torn.
In every single
these
one
countries
of
are not war torn.
Okay, but why are they still leaving though?
Because if there's an opportunity, they wouldn't leave if they lived in somewhere a lot of them in the Middle East. They wouldn't take the routes. People are staying there.
But these people are leaving
in
droves for a reason.
Because it's only two countries. Because there's only 2 countries up, and if you're saying come and we're going to take you, of course you're going to leave.
But it's nothing new, bro. Like you said, this has been going on for years and years and years and years.
Because if you offer it, my family in Mexico, none of them would ever starve to death. Never. Why
in Mexico? I'm asking about Honduras, El Salvador,
it's the
Nicaragua.
Same thing. Look, the news might try to make it otherwise.
Let me ask you a question.
It's the same thing.
Are you asking what's the solution from the standpoint of the country of Mexico, or what's the solution from the standpoint of America?
All the above.
No, it's a different question.
If you're America, there's only one solution in my opinion.
What's that?
You need to invest in these countries so that people won't leave their countries.
Bro, they're too corrupt. The governments are corrupt.
So what do we do? Just be like, we'll see you at the border?
Who keeps voting them in? Emotional immigrant.
But that's nothing to do with America, bro. That's something that people in Honduras and El Salvador have to figure out.
So you know what the cold-hearted answer is? Stop voting for those idiots.
Dude, I mean that.
No. I'm sorry. That's the truth, bro.
But who's talking? It's not like I'm involved in Honduras politics.
Who's voting for them?
I don't know.
But we have to think about. Okay, so go back. Look at it from the perspective of us. Stuff that we have control over. We don't have control over a corrupt government, president, how they make their money. You can invest as much money as you want into a country like that. You can put $20 billion into Iran. Iran's not changing their philosophy until there's a revolution. So you can say, oh, let's invest $100 billion into Iran. Iran still hates America, not Iranians. The Iranian politicians at the top. Yeah, they still hate America. They don't sit there, wake up and saying, let's figure out a way to get better with the West. Last time that happened was when the Shah was around, right? Okay, question becomes America. Not Mexico right now. This is a topic of America. What can America do to prevent a lot of these things happening? When you say, hey, we got to take care of the people that are coming across the border and give them a place to stay at, you're saying, come on down. Come on down. So words have consequences, especially when you're a president. Here's Kamala Harris. An article came out from New York Post. Where is Kamala? 2 weeks since being named border czar, Harris border czar, Harris still hasn't visited the border. President Biden named Harris on March 24 to head up the diplomatic effort to reach out to the leaders of Mexico and Central American countries about the flood of migrants, saying she speaks for me. But so far, she has only phoned Guatemalan President Alejandro Yamatei and Mexico's Andrés Manuel López Obrador to discuss root causes of the crisis. Instead, in her first 2 weeks as czar, she has traveled to Connecticut, Chicago, and home to California over the Easter weekend and has presided over swearing-in ceremonies, touted the administration's coronavirus stimulus package and COVID response, visited vaccination sites, lunched with the president, attended a cabinet meeting, and held listening sessions with faith leaders and small business owners. Her public schedule showed. Asked at the White House briefing Wednesday about when Harris might travel to the border, press secretary Jen Psaki said, there is no trips on the schedule. I don't have any trips to outline or preview. What our focus is on is solutions and ensuring we have more beds. We're making the processing more efficient and effective, and that we are addressing this in a human way that keeps these kids as safe as possibly we can. She said of the surging numbers of accompanied minors showing up to the crossing. Okay, at the crossing. So here's one thing. Look, say what you want to say about Bill Clinton. He showed up. Say what you want to say about Bush. He showed up. Crisis happened. He's there the next day. Say what you want to say about Trump. He showed up. He showed up. He's like, hey, what's going on over here? What the hell is going on with even showing up? You know, if this is the kind of a crisis that we're having right now, why don't you go see for yourself? Why don't you go show some support? Why don't you go support some of the guys that don't have the easiest job? It's not the easiest job to be the guy that's finding the kid. That's not an easy job right now. Their job at the border is not an easy job. So, U.S., okay, let's see. The reason why people are coming to America is what? Because America is still the greatest country in the world, so people want to come where? To America. Okay. You don't see people coming from Canada down here as much as we got people from Mexico or El Salvador coming up here. People don't go crossing the border from Canada the way they are crossing the border here. That says a lot about Canada. Good for Canada for being a neighboring country. Mexico, a different story. Can you really influence politically making these calls? I don't know. I don't know how much you can do that. The way Trump did it was the following. If you don't fix it, there is tariffs. If you don't fix it, there's more tariffs. If you don't fix it, there's more taxes. That got the attention of people very quickly, okay? We're like, okay, listen, let's get this together. So why don't you say, hey, Mexico, if you don't fix the border issue that you are causing for us, here's a tariff. It's very simple. Now, I'm just telling you what we're going to do to you. This is the tax you got to pay us. You still don't want to fix it? Another tariff. You still don't want to fix it? Another tariff. Do you remember when Trump said Mexico's going to pay for the wall? You know what was the most disappointing thing? That Americans were upset about it. What are you upset about it? Why are you upset if he makes Mexico pay for the wall? What's the big deal? Why are you so upset that you're defending them? They should pay for the wall. We're not going over their border. They should pay for the wall, right? This isn't something where you're, look, so let's just say you're President Biden or Kamala Harris. Okay. Would you say this is a pretty urgent issue that's taking place today? Is this a pretty urgent issue?
Yes.
Is it? Okay, is it, how urgent is it right now, what's going on to Texas, Arizona, and California because they're on the border? How urgent is it?
It's a pretty big damn issue.
It's a pretty big
but not
issue
the
today.
Biggest issue
What
today.
is the biggest issue
Number
today?
one, by far and away, is COVID.
But COVID has already been solved because we have, no, what I mean by that is the fact that we have the, what do you call
The
it?
vaccine.
We have the vaccine.
Yeah.
We have some progress that we're making. So
Yeah.
it's not like we're in the process of making that better, right? What even brings more COVID? If you got hundreds of people, thousands of people that are around each other in
point.
different
Good
facilities,
point, yeah.
if COVID is your number one, why don't you pay attention to the border?
And a lot of these
that
people
could
coming over
create
do have COVID.
a big, of course they do. That they could create a bigger spread. I don't know, man. I think for me, I like the fact when you say, well, it's been very quiet, ever since Biden got elected. You don't hear a lot of different problems. Yeah, I kind of want you to go there ASAP and sit down and see what's going on. You're the president, man. We're paying you to go do your job, and this is an issue that we're facing right now. All you got to do is get on that Air Force One plane of yours with a few hundred Secret Service guys. Go out there and see what's going on. Make some tough decisions. Let's move forward rather than sitting there saying, well, I don't know what we're going to do here. If we put too many tariffs, then they're going to say we're doing what Trump did, and I want to be compared to this. Forget about it. I don't think they're playing offense to figure out a solution.
Well, he's reconsidering to build the wall, to continue the wall.
He has no choice because people are now saying that it worked.
Right.
People are now saying maybe we do need it. So that whole concept about a wall, calling them racist, now people are starting to realize maybe we do kind of need a wall. The part, Ricky, my challenge is the following, which there's a part I agree with you here, is, which I don't know, you may agree with what I'm going to say, but I think where you're going is saying, why are people leaving Mexico? What can Mexico do? What can this do?
Central American country.
Listen,
yes.
You're America. If you're America, impose some tariffs. Go ahead. Hey, Mexico, you don't figure this out, I'm not lifting the tariffs. And these tariffs are going to stay for 6 months. And by 90 days from now, if I don't have a resolution and a report showing me with what exactly you're doing, guess what? We're raising the tariffs again. And within 6 months, if you haven't done X, Y, Z, tariffs are going up again. I'm going to put a tier of tariffs with timelines on them. I'm going to say 90 days. By 90 days, you need this. Between now and then, 10%. 90 days to 180 days. If you don't meet that, it goes to 20%. 180 days to 270 days. If you don't meet that, 30%. 270 days to 360 days. If you don't meet that, 40%. Guess what?
Motivates action.
I want to get this done because that creates a level of urgency tied with deadlines. Let's get to work. We want to help you. We want to be able to accommodate you, but at the same time, this is an issue because you're throwing your problems at us, and we don't want to do that. We don't want to see videos like this. This is heartbreaking. You know what's one of the common things threads I read here with people commenting below? Parents saying, I can't even watch that video. Comment if you look at it. If somebody saying, I can't even watch that video. Somebody comments, we got Juan Garcia gave $5. He said, as a Hispanic parent, so heartbreaking to see those images. Jorge Ramos is a Hispanic puppet for the left. Shout out to Ricky for keeping it real, right? You're getting people that are watching this saying, this is tough to watch. This is not easy to watch, and it's happening. And what are you doing? You're going to different events? Yeah, I don't know about that. That doesn't show leadership to me.
You know what the most disappointing part about it is? Yes,
FYI,
yes,
FYI.
Pat. Yes, Pat.
This doesn't help. You know the whole thing that they're saying Kamala's going to be president? This doesn't help her re-election stuff. Go ahead.
You know what the crazy part about it is, though? What I'm really disappointed in. A lot of my friends are watching this and are going to watch this. is how many of you guys, and I'm going to say this to you, I'm talking to my friends that supported Biden. How many of you guys voted for him because Trump was a racist, and because that's what they used to brainwash you? And then on top of that, how quiet you are about what's going on, yet it's in our face. It was never this bad. Our people that carry forget about the skin color, because I don't believe in division, that carry our culture, our country, right now are literally going through this, and how many people are quiet about it? I mean, it was a daily post. Trump is racist. Trump is racist. Wall is racist. Trump is racist. But now everything's good because the racist guy is out of the office, according to them. It's just insane to me. Like, it's so disappointing as a Mexican hardcore. I have a centenario on my chest, which is the 100th anniversary of Mexico. It's a coin they make every 100 years. I lived in Mexico. My dad lives in Mexico. I have property in Mexico. I go there often. My family's there. I went to school there. I just went and buried my uncle, my grandmother, and my uncle. I'm a Mexican citizen. I have a dual citizenship. I'm not a whitewashed Mexican that lives over here, watches the news, and reads a couple articles and think they're woke. I'm very objective. I remember when I was living there, I was 18 years old and I lived there. I was there for a year. One of the times I lived there, we would actually party, right, with my friends that were, and by the way, with families that are well off, that they were going to cross. I remember vividly, I was there, we were at a bar. Okay, I still remember it's called Desvan, right? And it's no longer there, Desvan. And I'm from Michoacan, which is a very dangerous state to be in, right? So it's torn in the cartel war. And there were 3 of them were going to go illegally. And we're like we're getting drunk the night before because we're partying for them. And they go up, they all 3 got caught, they came back, and we threw a party because they were back. These are not starving people. So when you're sitting there and you're a Mexican that lived here your entire life, and you don't even know where your parents are from, and you want to have an opinion on this when you don't know what's going on down there, it's the stupidest thing ever, because you let the news rile you up. I was there. I saw them leave the town with well-off families. They just want to go just do something better, go experience another country. It's almost like a vacation to some of them. I don't want to say that about all of them. It's unfair for me to categorize everybody like that. But I know my fair share of people that had no need to come down here, and they're coming down here, and everybody over here wants to feel bad because the news is making you feel bad when they're pretty good where they're at. So,
Let's just talk numbers real quick.
And I'm not against immigration, by the way. I want you to know, obviously, we're immigrants.
You're against pro-legal immigration,
I'm pro you not getting raped and trafficked.
Okay, yeah.
So be very
we can all
clear.
agree upon that.
Okay?
Just quick numbers for you while we before we move on. Because you brought up, this is not a good look for Kamala if she's going to be the immigration czar, border czar. So let's just talk numbers. Let's talk approval ratings. Biden's approval ratings for his handling of COVID and the vaccine, 75%.
That's
very
insane.
High. Very high.
Meaning that he did nothing for it. Previous administration created the vaccine. That's the fact.
Sure. So own it. So tell people to get vaccinated then if you're Trump.
No,
he did.
I'm just saying.
Okay.
No, I'm
debatable. Let me just finish my point.
I'm an independent thinker.
Biden also, when Biden came into office, because obviously they were talking about his plan when he was campaigning. He was saying this, that, and the other. Oh, we're gonna put together an action plan. And then as soon as he got elected, he said, basically, it's just got to run its course. So
okay, there you go. Let's just talk numbers for a second. His approval rating between
But he just made a very good point, just so you know that. When they asked him, I have a plan when I get elected, I'll tell you about it. When he got elected, he said, we just have to let it run its course. There was no plan.
Okay.
Yeah.
But
go ahead. He's got 77 approval rating.
75% on COVID. Border patrol, situation of the border in the 40s. So if you're looking at numbers, and if Kamala is the person that's going to be the border czar, you can walk and chew gum at the same time. You can handle COVID and do well and get vaccinated and do everything, but also get Kamala's ass down to the border and make this situation go away and fix this problem. So I don't know if the wall is the solution. I think it's more policies than wall. Because there's something called, tell me if you're familiar with this, Title 42.
Yes.
So tell me, I don't know if, I know that I'm familiar with the Title 42. I don't know the ins and outs of it, but there's basically a policy situation that Trump implemented. Biden came in with an executive action and removed it. So listen, part of being voting for Biden or being a Republican is that you can have tough love. You can love your kids and say, bro, you got to do better here. Your report card sucks. So my advice to Joe and Kamala, whatever, is keep doing what you're doing on COVID. Things are getting better, but get your act together when it comes to the border, because this is a humanitarian disaster.
But hold on, it's deeper than that. The man hasn't done anything in 42 years, 47 years. Why would you have an expectation of a vote for a person that's never done anything? Literally, you got video. Hold on.
You can't say he's never done anything.
Are you serious?
But
Okay, you're right. Mass incarcerate blacks in the 1980s.
I like
you're
what
right.
you're doing here.
You're right.
You're using the
You're
propaganda.
Right. Got
I
it.
get it.
No, oh, it's propaganda or they're on the books.
Who won the election?
That's beside the point.
We're not gonna go there?
No, we're not. No, we're not.
I hope you brought cash with
No,
you.
we're not gonna
Did you
go
bring
there.
your
No,
cash?
we're not gonna go there.
Did you
Don't
bring
worry
the
about
cash, Ricky?
We're gonna. We'll
I
take care of
believe
that.
in you, bro.
We're not gonna go there. We're not gonna go there.
What do you
Okay?
mean?
No, we're not because we're not. So the point is this. Here's the reality behind things. Trump in his 40s brought Manhattan out of ruins. That's the truth. When he was in his 30s and 40s, they actually brought him in and said, what can we do to fix Manhattan? He brought Manhattan to where it's at right. Well, to a certain extent, he brought.
Trump brought Manhattan.
Are
to
you
where
serious?
It's at?
They sat meetings.
Trump is the
they had
person
city
that
council
brought
meetings
Manhattan
where
where it's at?
they had city councils where he was helping them rebuild. He says, "Do this, do this, do this, do this, do this. Let me build here. Let me build here." He's the one that brought life to it, right? And that, or am I wrong? If I'm wrong, tell me I'm wrong. You don't have to agree with me.
I don't think Trump was the sole reason Manhattan is what it is.
Okay, you don't think he was the biggest influence for it? He was the biggest voice at the time.
I think he did his fair share, but I think there's a lot of freaking people that.
Of course, I'm not saying that.
I'd say Rudy Giuliani is a bigger factor than Trump.
But everything needs a pioneer, right? He was a pioneer for it.
Sure.
Okay, right? Did our forefathers get the country to where it's at right now? No. The forefathers. No, they fought to get rid of British, and then they established the Constitution, and we're here now. But we had to continue that legacy.
Sure.
Okay, that's what I'm getting at. Okay, so what I'm getting at is that the man has already had previous success. What has Biden done? He hasn't done anything but enforce a few laws that go against mass incarceration. And then what did Kamala Harris actually known for? Lock up a brother. That was her nickname. So why would you have any expectations for people who have done nothing for the communities to begin with, and then expect them to go into office and want to have expectations for them?
Is
It's
Joe
ridiculous.
Biden your president?
It's like having a dog, it biting you, and then saying, "Don't bite me." It bites you when it's adopted, and then when you're like, "Don't bite me when I own
this
you."
is a
It's that
famous thing that we
stupid.
talk about. What's your point?
My point is, why do you have any expectations? You should have known this happened.
So it should have zero expectations for the president of the United States?
Why
Zero?
would you if you already knew the track record?
That's
No.
a- that's
Why
a-
are you?
that's- you're a smart guy. That's not a smart
no.
comment,
Okay.
bro. That's not a smart
Let me clarify.
Even if your expectations are low, you should have
Hold
some
on. Let me clarify it
expectations,
for you
bro.
then. Let me clarify for you then.
Yeah.
Okay. Democrats that voted for him that are not happy on what he's doing should not be surprised. You already know he has nothing going on for
There's
himself.
different issues, brother.
No.
There's
There's no
different
different
issues.
issues.
There's COVID. There's immigration.
Yeah.
There's taxes. There's policies.
Which he
there's
sucks at all of them.
There's
Is he doing?
healthcare.
Tell me one category he's doing good in. He's doing good in Texas.
COVID.
He's doing good in COVID.
75% approval rate.
It doesn't matter what ignorant people think. The question becomes who started it. He said we got to let it take its course.
So
take
Trump
what
should own
course?
it. Trump should get out there and tell people.
He already did.
I started this thing.
He did.
Get your
He
ass
has.
vaccinated. So why do 50%
Kind
of
of like
Republican men
remember when I was
refuse to get a
last time I was on the
vaccine?
podcast and she said what was her name? I don't
Danielle,
know. Danielle. She's like, why doesn't he reject white supremacy? I said yes, he did 26 times. Remember when I said that? Okay, publicly. He's already publicly saying to do it. So what are you talking about? He hasn't
You
come
should
out and
do
said
it
it.
more often then.
Well, he's not the president anymore. They took him off of every single social media.
Let me ask you, do you listen to what Trump has to say?
Not everything.
You respect what he has to say?
I respect what he had
If
to
he
in
told
certain
you,
categories.
listen, bro, listen, Ricky,
Yes.
I want you to go get vaccinated.
No, sir.
You
I'm an
wouldn't
independent.
listen.
I'm an independent
Okay,
thinker. I don't solely follow one man. I could like a lot of what he does without liking certain things. Okay, that's what happens when you're an independent thinker. Right?
Well played, sir.
Okay, all right, all good. By the way, he did tell people to get
Yes.
the vaccine, but he said I came up to expedite the process of vaccine, not Biden taking credit for it.
Yes.
Trump is what made it happen within 9 months. If it wasn't Trump, it would have been 18 months because even
Listen,
Fauci said it's going to take 18
Look,
months.
whether it's Fauci, whether it's Trump, whether it's Biden, this is a team effort.
No, you
Enough
can't.
of-
You can't.
Oh,
You can't.
God.
Do
That's not
that,
a freaking
buddy.
team
you
effort?
cannot do that, buddy.
It's
You-
not a team effort?
What
No,
team?
Fauci said 18 months. He said 9 months. So it
Okay.
got done in 9 months.
Okay,
Give
so
the guy
Fauci-
credit if he did.
I'm giving him
No,
credit.
but
It's a
you're
team
not.
effort.
No, it's not. There's
Trump implemented a plan, made it happen. Fauci's telling people to wear a
Tampa
mask.
Bay won the Super Bowl last year.
Okay.
Because of who?
Because of more
Tom
than Tom
Brady.
Brady.
Yeah, because Tom Brady showed up and then he led the team.
True.
Yeah, okay.
But there's people out there making tackles. There's people out there catching passes. There's people out there blocking. It's not just Tom
Yeah,
Brady, bro. It's just not just
the-
Trump.
the-
It's not just Biden. It's not just
the
Fauci.
rhetoric.
It's a team effort.
You gotta be kidding me.
No, it's
You're
not a team
so-
effort.
You're so naive to say something.
It's not
like
a team
that.
effort.
You're so naive to say something
it's all
like
Trump.
that.
Trump
No,
made it
it's
happen.
not. It's all
That's it.
Trump.
He's the only, Trump made the vaccine. He distributed the vaccine.
No.
He was there with the beakers, and he's making the vaccine. What are you saying?
Can you get this guy a cookie, please? Just
Give me a
him some-
goddamn
give him
cookie.
Some broccoli cookie or
so
something.
did the
here,
Venezuela?
too.
It says it's a team effort. Did the Venezuelan people ruin Venezuela? This is a team effort. It wasn't Maduro or Chavez.
I'm sure they had.
Oh, okay. It wasn't Hitler.
What are you saying?
What are you saying?
What are you saying?
It's a team effort.
Listen.
Is it a team effort then? So
Hablas
Hitler,
español, hablas español.
Hitler didn't pioneer it. Hitler didn't pioneer that. Karl Marx didn't pioneer socialism. No, I'm not.
It's to say there's a driver.
There's a driver.
I
There's a driver. at the top.
freaking agree.
No,
So who's the
But he's
driver?
not the one making the goddamn vaccine.
Oh my! He did it.
He
Okay.
said, "Make the vaccine. Let's
Okay,
go." I
so
give
did
him-
Hitler create
just
the
like-
AK-47s
just like
and the
Tom
tanks and the
Brady
bombers?
was the driver of the
Okay,
books.
okay.
There were other
perfect.
people involved.
So the gas chambers, did Hitler make them, or did he drive them?
Dude,
Who made him?
That's such a dumb comment.
No, it's
Ricky.
not dumb,
It's a
bro.
dumb
It goes
comment,
back to
bro.
what you're trying to say.
All right, let's
That's
skip
just
this.
stupid right
We're
there.
done here. It ended well. You guys good? Give
We're
yourself
good.
a good dang. Okay, all right. Let's
Hey
go
guys,
to the next
a
topic.
little update from the polls here. Adam's approval rating has risen to 4% here on the Twitter chatter.
By the way, if you're enjoying the dialogue right now, listen, this is what I like. I like banter. I like debate. That's how we learn. If we sit here and all of us agree on everything, nobody learns. This is how I learn. This is how my board meetings are. This is how my meetings are. And it's working very well, specifically today.
And we're still friends, by the way. I love this guy. This guy, yesterday he texted me, "Hey, happy birthday!" Like, we have a great relationship. We can. This is the way America should be.
How it should be.
100%.
How it
We
should
can
be.
disagree.
Yes,
and
I agree.
still have lunch afterwards and be good.
We still got an hour, 9 minutes to go, guys.
Holy
I do
moly.
want to tell you, I want to give a shout out to a couple. If you're enjoying this, smash that thumbs up button. If you're here for the first time, join us, subscribe to the channel, and click on the notification button so when it goes out, you're getting your notification. Let me give a quick shout out to a few people that the donation today, for whatever reasons, pretty high. Okay, hi, Pat. This is Ramiro Gonzalez, $10. I'm trying to launch an app, 3 to 4 relatively big players in the market. My biggest competitor just raised $2 million. Is there anything you'd recommend when going up against a Goliath? I made a video about it, Ramiro. You ought to go watch it. Okay. $4.99 was by Heavy Hall Mercenary, saying Candace Owens is the furthest person right, is what he says. AG just gave $10 to give $10. Thank you. Troy Glow just gave $25 just to give $25. Nelson J, $5. Thank you. Sanchi gave 200 ARS. Perque Crack Adam Hablano Español. Okay? I have no clue what he just said.
Crack
right there.
ass Adam speaks
Speak
Spanish.
Spanish. That's what he said. Crack ass.
Sí,
Adam.
soy de Miami, me hablo español muy bueno.
$5, AG. Mr. Clean Ball Guy is back. I tweeted what he said last week, by
Yeah.
the way. Fantastic. Have Adam Google how much taxes were paid in 1964. Click on the Revenue Act of 1964. It's the first link. Read the impact. I'm curious. I'm going to look
I'll
at
get
that
right
myself
on
as
there,
well.
bald guy.
PBD, thanks for the quote on Twitter. You got it, buddy. Chad Williams, $10. When I went through LA pre-COVID, had a buddy take me through Skid Row. It was literally like going to the third world. Worst about it is mental health problems and business owners stuck behind tents. Interesting. Chad Williams. And by the way, Chad Williams is a guy that will go left or right when it comes down to commenting. He still gave the $5 on that. Let me see what else we got here. Chad Williams, another $5. What about Rock running for president? We've talked about that before in the past. Yemi Marino gave $50. Amen. Preach. U.S. Media, Univision, and Telemundo are sellouts to Hispanic community, spreading lies to the Democratic Party. That's based on your conversation. Ruben Ramirez, Ricky, what were the best advantages of growing up in the streets? And what would you say to someone who's looking to become a legitimate businessman, entrepreneur? What were the toughest obstacles? Maybe you want to answer that right there.
What was
Streets,
the
growing up in the streets.
I grew up. Some of you guys don't know. I grew up in East Bakersfield, which is the second biggest barrio in California, outside of East LA. Actually, the founder of the California's Mexican Mafia is from Bakersfield. He grew up 6 blocks from where I grew up in Beale Street. And so there's a lot of heavy influence there. I think the number one thing would be to get away from those people, right? Which is associations. Get away from people that have that mentality. And by the way, let me make one thing clear, because a lot of my friends are watching. I have a lot of my friends that I grew up in the hood with that I love very much, and some of them are still there, some of them are out. But it's limiting my association with the people that had the mentality that I used to have, right? And then limiting my visits to the neighborhood. I'll go now to go cut my hair, to go buy things, but I don't go to visit anybody there anymore. But that's number one. Number two is you, and I'm just gonna give him a shout out because you've interviewed him, you're friends with them. I read the book by Robert Kiyosaki, Rich Dad Poor Dad, to help me change my mentality. to understand what it is to be a business owner, and then find a proven mentor. You know, in this case, I was able to, first of all, my brother got into business. Then Alejandro, my brother Alejandro, shout out to my little brother Alejandro, into this business because I come from a family of entrepreneurs that were in financial services. So then, from there I was coached by Hector and Erica El Toro. Shout out to them. And then Jose Marlin Gaitan, which is the older brother sister to Hector and Erica, and then Pat. So it's finding proven mentors and then staying within that association. I think to me, my number one thing is association. You're going to be a direct reflection of the 5 people that you're around the most. That your income is going to be a reflection of the 5 people that you're around the most. And a lot of the reason that I'm passionate about the things that I'm passionate about now is because Pat kind of brought light to it. So what ends up happening is that you're kind of in the dark on a lot of things. A lot of subjects that you're in the dark. And so somebody says, hey, have you looked at this? All they got to do is point a finger for you to look at. And then you're like, wow, I did not know that, right? So that's kind of the road that I would say to take is, again, to break it down. Number 1, get away from associations that have the same lifestyle. Number 2, start reading, self-developing. Number 3, find a proven mentor. Anybody who's willing to mentor that you admire, that you know. And they could be a priest, they could be a pastor. For us, it's Dudley. And on the spiritual side, find a way out and just stick with that community. That would be my
By the
best
way,
advice.
to tell you how much Ricky has influenced the Latino community in his surrounding area, this is just the beginning of what he's going to be doing with his impact. Because this messaging coming from somebody like this who grew up there, the level of credibility he has to say, here's where I was, here's who I was, here's what I did, here's the proof, this is what I believe today, we ought to change or else.
Well, I've told Ricky this a million times. This is a lot of what the Republican Party needs, especially
no
in
question
California.
about it.
Like if you see a guy like this,
Yeah.
rather than the male, pale, and stale crowd that you see when they're lining up on the Trump pictures, this is someone that I think people can get behind. This is someone that even
No
a
question.
Democrat can say, you know what, this motherfucker.
Yeah.
But you know what? I think to a certain extent, though, the suit. Let me. I'm gonna send something to Kai real quick, Pat, if you don't mind.
Go for it.
I think that sometimes, a lot of times, what is it called? The suit may
Fool them.
So I'm gonna send. I'm gonna send something.
Why don't
to,
you just take your clothes
no,
off?
No,
right
I'm not
here,
gonna do
Ricky?
that
Why
right
don't
now.
you do
No,
that
because
right
then
now?
you're gonna.
The people in the crowd want to see
I'm
that.
actually gonna send this. I'm gonna send this to Kai. Maybe
Ricky,
Kai
while
can
you're
pull it
doing
up.
that, let me ask you a follow-up
Yes,
question
sir.
while you're doing that. So,
Maybe Kai could pull this up real quick so people know what I look like without a shirt. Not completely, just So go ahead.
the male model pictures?
No, not the male
all right.
model.
So, respect to you for
Thank you,
what,
appreciate
what you're doing, bro. Real talk. You talked about limiting your trips to the body or limiting your trips to the hood. Obviously, you're associating yourself with PBD and the Del Toros and the Gaitans. Respect to them if they're listening. Sapala, everyone.
Oh, 100%. Yes, Apollo
Respect,
Vargas.
respect. Love those guys.
Yeah.
You talking about limiting? What kind of backlash are you getting from your people saying, "Bro, you sold out. Bro, you're not with us anymore. Bro, you talk shit." I gotta suspect you're seeing stuff like that.
Yeah. You know what? You know what the crazy part is? I don't, because I'm not around them. I don't hear it.
So when you go around them,
Yeah,
you think you're better than me now?
No,
bro?
no, actually.
Oh, you think you're this?
Actually,
you don't get any of that?
Surprisingly enough, bro. Surprisingly enough, when I do, I go get my compadre owns a barbershop, so I go cut my hair in my neighborhood 2-3 times a week. And when
You're getting haircuts 2 or 3 times a week.
Put it back up.
Yeah. So
Jesus.
of course. So that's what I look like without a shirt. Yeah. So I'm completely, and that's the way my damn near 75% of my body looks. I'm completely tattooed, and I have my murals. I have my
What's up with the
tattoos.
rooster on your hat?
The roosters, where I'm from, it's big on the rooster world. So my family were raised roosters.
Coxman.
Yeah. So I this is how I look without my shirt on. When I take off my shirt on my back, I have my back completely tattooed as well. I grew up in the neighborhood. So anyway, point is that to answer your question though, no, I don't get a lot of it. On the contrary,
I can see that.
Yeah,
but here's why though, because his arguments make sense. There is credence behind it. When there's credibility and weight behind your word, people have to listen. Okay, you have, no matter how much a person doesn't like a doctor, if a doctor's got the credibility to say, for the last, like Ron Paul will get up and say, I've delivered 4,000 babies, right? If he tells you about delivering babies, guess what you have to say? I never delivered a baby. 4,000 of them, you got credibility.
Yeah.
You only have the history you got to kind of listen. By the way, if you're listening to this, and you like what Ricky had to say today, it's his birthday today. I'm going to put the comment below with the link to exactly his Instagram account. Go give him a follow and send him a message and stay in contact with him. I just put the link right there. You ought to see it. Go real quickly and follow him and give him some love.
It's also in the description.
Okay, perfect. So we got it both places. Sabatimani family is watching Paulette and Siamak. Good to have you guys on.
Shout out to
Family,
and Siamak.
$10. By the way, Jack E just gave $5 specifically to you.
Yeah.
And said, Patrick, are the rumors true that Adam is planning to run for president of Chaz?
Is that in Seattle, Chaz?
Yes.
That's good stuff.
It's hilarious. I got a
That's
few
good
other
stuff.
people here. Adam follow up PBD's preaching and recently learned about people from Honduras, Guatemala, El Salvador leaving corrupt governments. Juan Garcia, $5. Mass legal and illegal immigration is bad. It hurts wages and salaries against many immigrants. Don't assimilate to rules and culture of America. As a Mexican, I can honestly say Mexico is a failed culture. $10, Serafin. Then we got a few other people that just gave $5.
I wonder what he means by that. I don't understand.
Mass legal or illegal immigration is bad. It hurts wages, similar to what you said, and salaries. And many immigrants don't assimilate to rules and culture of America, meaning they're coming here. They don't say, oh, I love America.
No, I meant the other one, Serafin, the other one. The one before that or after that. Where he says that Mexican culture's failed. I don't know what he meant by that.
Mexican, as a Mexican, I honestly can say that Mexico is a failed country.
Oh.
Mexico is a failed culture. I don't know what it is. If you want to elaborate on it, Serafin will come back to it.
Yeah, a little bit more specific. Yeah.
Sean Ellis gave $5. Trump has had this fix would remain in Mexico in the wall and ending catch and release, but Biden flipped all of those.
Yep.
And now we have a nonstop flow of 20 years. Some guy, $5. Illegal immigration costs U.S. taxpayers $116 billion per year.
Yep.
And we got Woods Dog. We got a few other people here that said what they said. But let me get back to, Mexico needs to send its military into Central America and conquer it. The U.S. better stay out of it since they don't care. Expand the fatherland. NC Styles. $5. All right, it is what it is.
Wow, that's
what's the fatherland?
That's brutal.
That's yeah. He's talking about taking over the countries.
All right, so let's talk about Amazon. Let's talk about Amazon. Let's talk about what Amazon did here. Page 4, if you want to go to it. Go to page 4, Amazon. So a few things going on with Amazon. I'll read both of the stories, and then you tell me your thoughts on it. One, this is a Business Insider story. Amazon is snapping up disused shopping malls and turning them into fulfillment centers. Malls that buckled due to e-commerce or suffered during the pandemic are being given new life by the very entity that precipitated their decline, Amazon. Last year, Amazon was reportedly in talks with Simon Property Group, the country's biggest mall owner, to convert many bankrupt JCPenney's and Sears department stores into fulfillment centers. About 50% of mall-based department stores could permanently close by the end of 2021, according to Green Street. Let me read that one more time. About 50% of mall-based department stores could permanently close by the end of 2021.
Wow.
That is half of malls.
That's crazy.
Close. Amazon's signature Prime delivery depends on its national network of more than 100 fulfillment centers and roughly 1 million workers to get the packages to customers' front door within a day or even an hour. What do you think about the strategy that Amazon's taking, Adam?
I mean, this isn't a new story. We've covered this, but that malls are closing and that Amazon fulfillment centers are taking over, and it is what it is. I mean, the reality is these malls, these retail shopping has been declining for years and years and years. Online shopping has risen and risen, and it's a natural progression. Who else is going to go into these what they call anchor stores, these Sears, these Macy's, these JCPenney's? Who the hell is going in there? There's been some ideas about freaking theme parks going into these type of things. The reality is one door closes, another door opens, and Amazon is just going to literally fulfill that open location.
Yeah,
Ricky.
I think I agree with Adam when it comes down to that. I mean, here's what it comes down to. I'm kind of split on this. I was having a conversation with Vanessa earlier before we started here. She worked at an Amazon warehouse, and
Which we'd like to hear what she has to say about that.
I actually but it's she was saying how the workers get treated or whatever the case may be. I think it's a double-edged sword. So let me explain what I mean by that. As far as Amazon is concerned, do I like a lot of people don't like, Bernie Sanders made everybody hate Amazon. I love Amazon. Amazon saves you a trip for possibly getting in a car accident, right? Because it'll bring you to do your stuff your next day. So now parents can spend more time teaching their kids. They don't have to I have to go to run to the store. You can just order, it'll be there the next day. I think Amazon has really upgraded our quality of life in many different ways. On a capitalistic sense, because again, if I'm doing homework with my kid and I need toilet paper, I can literally just order it online while I'm helping them. It gives you more time at home with your family. It gives you more time to work on your business. I know I use Amazon. I order from Amazon out of 30 days, probably about 25 of the days, right? So it helps you with it just helps you in different areas. Now it is the richest company in the world now. and I'm kind of a little bit.
One of. I think Apple's market
is
cap
it? Is it?
bigger than
I know Amazon
right?
was bigger than. Was it?
Market cap, I think Apple's at $2 trillion.
Okay,
Amazon's at 1.5.
But it's still it's very influential.
It's massive. I'm with you on that.
So I like it. I like the idea of them going into fulfillment centers because it's making our life easier. Like you said, it's progression. You know, now there's been a lot of complaints about how it treats its workers. That's kind of I'm concerned about
So
that.
why don't you
we
tell
can
us
go
when
into that next story.
I'm going to go into. I want to hear from Vanessa real quick. So tell us about you worked at Amazon before.
Yes, I did. I was a fulfillment worker. This warehouse in Doral, that's Miami, basically. And it's funny how you say that they want to make customers happy, and I'm all about that. But I'm wondering how they would treat their employers in these new facilities that they want to replace them all. Because honestly, in my warehouse at least, they didn't treat me with respect at all. All managers.
The managers?
Yeah, the managers didn't respect us at all.
And can you tell us? Tell me more about that. What do you mean by that?
I mean, they would actually disrespect us. Like for example, very basic thing. If I need to go to the restroom, I just go. But for them was like, oh, okay, well, you instead of 5 minutes, you took 7 minutes. That's a write up. Or for example, if your back hurts because you've been lifting boxes all day.
Yeah.
Okay. Instead of taking you to a less heavy-duty section that we do have, instead of boxes, it's just envelopes.
Yep.
They would write you up for that too, or suspend you for 2 weeks. It's just not. I don't know how the new idea is gonna become. I hope it's better, to be honest. But in my experience, there's no respect at all.
And do you think that's something, the overall sentiment from workers? Was that your experience? Does your friends have similar experiences? What's your take on that?
The entire warehouse, because I don't like to talk bad about any company, but then my entire warehouse felt the same way that I do. I know that 100%, at least from the associate level. That was my position, associate. When it becomes to managers, of course, you're like the king and the queen. I don't know about the corporate level because I never got to that point. I really tried, but that's the other thing. They don't let you to go. I don't know how managers got to managers, to be honest.
Interesting.
So you did not have a good experience working for Amazon?
No, sir.
Whatsoever.
By the way, if you heard that strange noise, that was Paul's stomach. He's hungry. That's what that sound was, Paul. I caught it. Paul looked at me as if I caught it or not. Your stomach is growling. Very interesting to hear that. Let me get into the next part on their culture.
Is it fair to say that you like working at Valuetainment a little bit better than Amazon?
I'm in love with this job.
Okay, there we go.
By the way, I noticed you took a break. Let's make sure we wrap it up.
Vanessa, you took
we love.
I'm giving her
I
6.5
think
minute
everybody
breaks.
loves
Yeah,
Vanessa.
she's
I
got
think
a
everybody
great
loves
vibe,
Vanessa
great
here.
positive
But
attitude.
but
Shout
let's
out
go
to
back to
Vanessa.
it. Let's go back to and read what they're saying here. Amazon has a quota for the number of employees it would be happy to see leave each year. Wow. Employees say there's a big reason Amazon's culture feels cutthroat. Business Insider. One key piece of Amazon's review process is a metric called unregretted attrition rate, URA, which represents the percentage of employees managers aren't sad to see leave the company, whether they part ways voluntarily or otherwise. Even the most senior executive at Amazon, including incoming CEO Andy Jassy, closely tracks URA according to the internal documents obtained by Insider. Jassy, for example, has a 6% goal for URA, which means he's expected to replace 6% of his team through unregretted departures on what appears to be annual basis. The internal document shows Jassy and other top executives also kept track of the current unregretted rate, a running tally of the percentage of employees the company is not concerned about losing, and current gap to go, which is the number of employees it needs to see leave each reach its targeted URA. Adam, I'll go to you first.
This is such a, I just spoke wow when I read this story, because are you familiar with the word attrition? This is basically essentially losing business or losing employees. And I remember, being in the hospitality and nightlife sector in Miami when I was in my 20s, you have a lot of turnover, whether you're, you're a bartender, you're a club, a hotel, front desk, you have a lot of turnover. It's a very high turnover type of business. So you're constantly bringing on new people. It's sort of part of the game. And then when I got into financial sales and financial services, something that I learned was attrition. Like, all right, if you've got 100 companies you're working with or 100 agencies, because I have a financial wholesaler, you said, look, your attrition rate can go up year after year. You obviously want to keep people on, but you're naturally going to lose clients. That's just sort of your attrition rate. So I'm familiar with this word attrition. I'm familiar with turnover. But this is a new term I've never heard before, bro. This is unregretted attrition rate. Unregretted, meaning we don't give a F if they leave or stay. It's unregretted. We don't give a shit essentially if these people go in there. Apparently their goal is 6%. So their number, they put a number to it. Don't be shocked by Amazon using data and metrics. Their magical number is 6%, where they're like, look, if 6 out of 100 people leave or quit or gone, we're good with that. If it's 10%, 20%, it's a little too high for us. But this is a terminology I've never heard before. You are a unregretted attrition rate. I've heard of attrition.
You seem very upset about it.
I'm not. I'm more
Did
just.
you used to work at Amazon as well? Did you have
No,
a bad
but shout out
experience
to
too?
Vanessa for everything she's done. But we're learning. I think. Let me just slow it down for a second. We are learning more about Amazon.
I'm gonna let him take over.
Of course, we're gonna let him take over. He's been taking over all day. He's a guest. It's his birthday. But this is a very new terminology, and Amazon does seem to be very cutthroat.
I think no. I think that they just put a name to something that every company does already anyway. I'm not surprised by it. I'm not offended by it. I'm not gonna like, oh my God, I can't believe it.
6%
You should.
Doesn't seem high at all, though.
No, it doesn't. But the reality is, I think that they just came up with the terminology and metrics for things that companies already do anyway.
Yeah.
And they just shine the light on a reality. And emotional people, that's why they don't get very far, because they don't know how to control their emotions. Will look and say, oh my God, this is horrible. When in reality is, well, what's your dating turnover rate? Right?
Well,
Do you have to like everybody you date? Should you marry everybody you date? No, companies don't need to marry their employees.
I'm with you 100%, brother. I think we're in agreement here. There's turnover. I talked about it in hospitality. For me, it's the unregretted. Basically, they don't look.
Is there some people in your life that left that you're so happy they left?
Yeah, of course.
Did you regret it?
No, I'm good with it. I'm
okay,
saying,
that's what I'm saying. So it's unregretted.
The fact that they put a metric behind it is
the fact that they had the audacity is what kind of blows you away.
Not even audacity, is the fact that that's what they called it. They could have just called it an attrition rate.
I think they want you to know
like,
we're
get
not
the hell
tripping.
out of here.
Hey, I'm good with that. That's business.
Okay, but then you have people like Vanessa that found a job she absolutely loves, to use her words,
right?
Versus a job she absolutely hated.
Okay, unregretted. What was it?
Unregretted attrition rate.
Vanessa, did you regret leaving?
Absolutely.
So she didn't. You don't regret leaving, right? You don't regret leaving.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm sorry. I don't regret leaving.
Okay, then so she
found a better job.
She unregrettably left.
Okay.
So it's unregretted on both sides.
So a couple things.
We agree here.
Yeah.
Let me say a couple things to this story here. Number one, when she says what she says about Amazon, I have a lot of people that also say they love working at Amazon. I've also heard a lot of people tell me they hate their managers. They love working for Amazon. They hate their managers. Okay, I've heard that many times.
That's probably in a lot of companies, though.
But what I'm trying to tell you is, like, I'll go to a Yard House here. Okay, the waitress here is not going to be the same waitress as the waiter in Addison who took care of me.
Jason,
I miss
Shout
Jason.
out to Jason.
Do you not miss Jason? I miss Jason. Jason is a guy. We just. So I'd go in there, Arnold Palmer already.
Pretty much the only reason I'd move back to Addison is for Jason's service. It's in Miami,
a couple nurses,
Addison,
and a couple of nurses.
Nurses are everywhere.
Yeah, so,
shout out to my nurse friends.
Jason was one of a kind. But here's the point. So that's one part. By the way, I'm not discounting Vanessa had a bad experience at Amazon.
Right.
All I'm saying is a manager can make a company look terrible if you don't track what some managers are doing to their people. I had a call the other day with the VPs. You were on that call when I said, moving forward, look, we're getting some people that are, hey, if you're gonna abuse and not do the right thing for your guys, we're gonna get involved. It's not like, hey, it's okay. No, we're not gonna let that happen, because that's what makes a company look bad. A company sometimes looks bad because they weren't able to inspect something that was happening in one place. Believe me, I run a company and I see a lot of the problems come up, and sometimes like, man, how come we didn't know about this earlier? How come we didn't know about this earlier? This is so you have to reward the people that are doing a good job, but stories like that happen all the time. As far as the 6%, URA that you're irate with, and I'm sorry to have you feel the way you feel. You seem very frustrated, and your face is red.
Irate.
I don't know why you're so upset
0%.
about it.
This is what Ricky does.
I'm telling you guys, I think we need to bring something here to kind of calm Adam's nerves.
Something tells me we'll bring something in that'll calm my nerves today.
But let me say, you're gonna bring the drinks again, like the Martino. But anyways, let me say this to you. Watch this.
Samuel.
Adam, watch this. 6% is Amazon's.
Yeah.
You know the legendary COO who everybody wanted to emulate, and they swore by this guy. Books were written by this guy. Everybody studied this guy. A guy named Jack Welch said every year we have to fire the bottom 10% of our employees. And you know what people said? What a genius guy. This guy's a genius. What a brilliant guy. We should do it as well every year. December 31st. Who's our bottom 10%? I think Joey made the cut. Billy made the cut. Bobby made the cut. Mary made the cut.
You know Mary was coming in there. Mary's definitely coming.
You guys are, listen, this didn't work out. We wish you nothing but the very best. We hope you find a place that's going to be better for you. And we want to give you a 1 month severance. All the best to you. Wish you nothing but the best. Great. Boom, you move on, right? People thought it was brilliant idea for this to be done 70s, 80s, 90s. But today, oh, God forbid, Amazon says a 6%, not even 10% you do that. I think it's not a big deal, and I applaud Amazon for doing it. I think it's the right thing they're doing. I think the media's spinning it again. And they need somebody to take shots at right now because they're trying to force Amazon to agree. Did you see Jeff Bezos came out? You know, I agree with the raising of the corporate taxes because companies should be paying more in taxes. Okay, and they're kind of using him now to say that because if he says it, you know, it's okay, kind of like how they used Buffett years ago when Buffett said it's okay, I'm not paying enough taxes, I should pay more. And then Biden, Obama said, if Buffett said it, and everybody said, well, Buffett said it, we got to vote for it. If Bezos says it, we got to go for it. Do you think Bezos is worried more about raising of corporate taxes, or do you think he's more worried about Amazon being unionized? Of course he is. So he's kind of sitting there saying, look, man, I'll say this on stage and I'll kind of tweet this shit out and tell you that. But listen, you cannot let me be unionized. If you're going to help me on the union side, I'm willing to support you raising of the taxes. I don't care about paying a little bit more because I want to make my money on the other place anyway. So there's a lot of that speculation going on. On one end, we got to trash Amazon to be able to, you know, get what we want from them. On the other end, Amazon is also sitting there saying, leave me alone on the unionizing side. But to each his own. All I'm saying is 6% is actually not a big deal. It's a reasonable number. I thought for sure, honestly, Amazon's number would have been the 20%, not 6%. Yeah. I'm not even kidding with you. I thought for sure it would have been a 20% number, not a 6%, which means what a rewarding company they are, okay, to be doing something. What a nice company it is, right?
Yes.
Sorry about your experience. Not saying it didn't happen because I've heard that before as well. But sometimes managers.
I've heard it's bad, but for me and my entire warehouse, it's bad.
Yeah.
But I hope it gets better.
FYI, I agree. I was at an Army unit. Okay, at an Army unit, my sergeants were impeccable. I loved my guys. But there were guys that came from another unit, same exact base, Fort Campbell, Kentucky, came to 326, and they were bitching about their sergeants that they had at this other place, at this other unit. I'm like, you don't even know what they do over there. They don't care about your health. They don't care about this. They don't care about that. They're true, but it's not how Army was all at the 101st. So we have to also kind of keep that part of mind. You got something in mind? Are you trying to say something?
Yeah.
Go ahead, Kai.
Just some 2 cents here. So with Amazon, I think, because I actually came from a warehouse background as well in Norway.
You look like a warehouse, you know.
Shout out to our
By the way,
warehouse
it's good to have him back.
Yeah.
It's good to have him
back. I was going to give him a shout out, but, you know.
No, Sam did a great job stepping in, so that's for sure. But back to the warehouse.
The challenge was every time I told him to write something, he wrote it in Spanish. I'm like, just write down. Every search he would do on Google was in Spanish. But go ahead, Kai.
So in warehouses in general, because I worked in one as well, and it was the same issue kind of, or complaints that were mentioned by Vanessa, is obviously logistics companies in general, they work on a very tight schedule. They have times shipments got to go. If a truck leaves late, you're losing hundreds of thousands, which accumulate to millions. They said in traffic they lose millions a year because things come late. It's a ripple effect, right? So I understand that there's efficiency and how they optimize it as much as possible. And at that point, unfortunately, in many ways, the weakest link is the people not working fast enough, because when you have thousands of employees and they work 1% faster, 2% faster.
Are you kidding me? It's the book Toyota's Way. We read Toyota's Way 3 years ago.
Exactly.
This is what it's all about. Toyota does that. McDonald's does their speed on how quickly they're able to do the fast food. This is business. It's accuracy. I mean, you got to be.
So in that sense, that could be a lot of complaints, because obviously you want to find a balance of being as efficient as possible, but also not being outright disrespectful, this, that, the other.
Yeah,
for sure.
Right.
Of course.
100%.
Of course.
There's the nature of the game there in that sense that you really can't do anything about it. However, just to add some 2 cents on them moving into the shopping centers.
Nothing about you is 2 cents. You're always a nickel. But go ahead. You're a little bit more than 2 cents.
Compliment.
Go ahead.
So what this does is this gives them a high. I'll tell you, Adam. Just wait and see here. So with Amazon moving into malls,
how dare you insult?
With Amazon moving into malls, they're now moving into the last mile delivery. So now they're closer to Americans, because with Walmart, They're super centers everywhere. They're
within
10
miles of 90% of Americans.
Of course.
Yeah.
What do you think they're competing with?
They're moving in the last
Exactly.
which can then
Exactly.
give them their electrical
I
vehicles,
agree.
this,
Do you
that,
think
and
they
the
would ever
other.
open up a
Ding,
retail
ding, ding,
store,
ding, ding, ding,
Amazon,
ding.
to compete with Walmart? Do you think they would ever turn these?
What do you think they're
fulfillment
doing?
centers?
This is to be able to compete with. This move is
But
exactly to be able to compete with
from
Walmart.
retail, like to walk into an Amazon store like you would walk into a Walmart
I don't know about
store.
that yet.
Jeff Bezos
I don't
has
know
said
about that
multiple
yet.
times he'll only do it if they can do something new, which they did with the
He will.
the
He
Go
will eventually
stores,
do it.
where
He
they-
will eventually do it because listen, sitting at home, you're gonna be bored out of your mind eventually. You got to get out and do some stuff. You
Yeah.
got to see some people outside.
Yeah, I haven't
Eventually,
left
they're
the
probably
house in
gonna
a
do
year,
something.
so I understand. I
Yeah.
need to get out more often.
Anything.
Yeah, so their Go stores, which they have some places where you don't have to do the cash register. You just go in, you grab what you
seen
want.
these.
The cameras take picture, they charge it to your Amazon account.
Why
and
don't
you
we?
can leave.
So this pissed off somebody. Can we show this anti-capitalist trying to climb the J.P. Morgan
Yes.
Chase building and see what happened to him?
pull
Because I
that
think
up.
Ricky's really curious to know what happens to this guy.
Yeah, I saw it, but I don't know. I didn't really follow the
So
story
so
too much.
here
Who's that
is
guy?
here's a gentleman who decides to climb the wall. Do you have it or no? Watch
There he
this here.
goes.
So watch this. This is they're spraying J.P. Morgan Chase's building.
Is this in New York? Where is this?
Addison.
Yes.
No, that is
Texas?
New York. No, this is New York. Watch. First of all, good for him so far. So far, he's looking good.
All right, buddy.
It's about to get interesting in about 7 seconds. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Oh my gosh! Oh my gosh! Oh my gosh! That's not blood, by the way. It looks like blood. It's not blood. It's ink.
No, that's how Antifa bleeds. Black blood.
Wow. It's a pretty bad situation there. Okay, press pause. Ricky, thoughts?
Oh my God. You know, man, I got a lot of thoughts about it. I think that a lot of people we're so spoiled here that people don't understand. These anti-capitalist, socialist people don't understand how bad other countries have it, and they come here and they want to do these stupid little protests like this. By the way, you know how many cars have been bought by people that couldn't afford them cash that Chase funded, that gave them a loan? How many business hasn't been started because of Chase? How many houses have not been bought because of Chase? I mean, it's just crazy to think that people would actually go against a corporation that literally allows you to fund your dream. Well, if your dream is to own your first car, Chase will fund it. Your dream is to own a business, Chase will fund it. You know, obviously you have to fall into some requirements. You want to own a home, Chase will fund it. It's crazy how people would literally want to bite the hand that feeds them. It's amazing to me. But you know, it's these socialists, people with socialist ideas are just, man, they're a special breed.
Adam, what do you want to say about this?
I mean, I have a lot of respect for Jamie Dimon, the CEO of J.P. Morgan Chase, and that guy's an idiot. And you're going to scale a wall or scale a building, and I mean, I hope he's got a good health insurance. Hopefully, maybe he's on Obamacare. Who knows?
I think these people, Pat, you know what we got to do to them? We need to give them a one-way ticket to whatever country that has socialism that they like. I would love to start that foundation. You know, the one it would be called the One Way Foundation.
You want to send them to Venezuela?
Wherever they want to go.
Except here.
Yeah, go to Scandinavia, wherever you think the socialist country is. Let's send you over there. I mean, if it's so great, right? America's so evil. Just go. Go. We'll have you jump on the plane. We'll have the flight attendant retrieve your passport, and then just take off. Just take off, and then we'll make sure we call the embassy down there to let them know that you don't need another passport because you have no intention of coming back to such an evil country, right? To this evil empire, right? Just go. Just take off. We don't need you here. I mean, people like that obviously are not engaging in any type of transaction that makes anybody money, right? Because they're anti-capitalist, so they're costing the country more money more than they're creating. So they have no business here.
Let's talk about the Olympics. Let's talk about the Olympics here. In close consultations with partners and allies around the world, Biden and his administration will weigh 2022 Beijing Games for U.S. This is Associated Press story. The State Department said Tuesday the Biden administration is consulting with allies about a joint approach to China and its human rights record, including how to handle the upcoming Beijing Winter Olympics. Human rights groups are protesting China's hosting of the games, which are set to start in February 2022. They have urged a diplomatic or straight-up boycott of the event to call attention to alleged Chinese abuse against Tibetans and residents of Hong Kong. The Beijing Winter Olympics opened February 4, 2022 to China, and China has denied all charge of human rights abuses. It says political motives underlie the boycott efforts. Both the Internal Olympics Committee and the U.S. Olympic and Paralympic Committee have said in the past they oppose boycotts. Thoughts?
Yeah, well, I think number one, there's two sides to this. China is committing human rights atrocities against the Uyghurs and I guess Tibetans as well. But I think that everything that's going on in the Uyghurs, which is basically the west side of China, the west side where Ricky's from,
right.
That is a true thing that's going on. There is human rights abuses going on in China. It is happening. But if I'm Biden or if I'm the Biden administration, I have to have a bigger perspective here and win the war, not the battle. Battling over whether or not we should compete in the Olympics is BS to me. It's like that's not where you should be fighting your battle here. We have a massive situation going on with China, with the trade war and everything that's going on, and tariffs and everything that's associated with China, and competing for the top spot in the economy. This is not the place that we want to have the war go down over the frickin' Olympics. So pick and choose your battles if you're Biden. And yes, they are committing human rights atrocities. That is true. No fan of China and what they're doing, but this is the stage to basically voice your concerns. That's my opinion.
Do you boycott or do you not boycott?
I do not boycott.
No, not meaning America. Should we keep Olympics in China, Beijing 2022?
Yes.
We should.
Yes.
And people around the world should comfortably go to China 2022. Even the coronavirus has been documented that came out of Wuhan. 3 years later,
if this is where the Olympics is scheduled, is this the Winter Olympics? What
Yes.
is this? The Winter Olympics. So something that I've come to terms with is multilateralism over unilateralism.
Okay.
If multiple countries, if NATO comes out, and if a squad of countries and says, look, we're the EU, we're Australia, we're Canada, we're United States, we're this, and we're all coming together and saying, But to go at it alone, unilateralism, which Trump sort of coined, that is not the look that I want Biden doing. So if a collective effort says this is what we are all doing, I'm in favor of that. Going at it alone against China.
Who right now is against it? Kai, who right now is against it? Who's right now against it about having the Winter Olympics in China? Ricky, do you have any thoughts on this?
I'm kind of torn, Pat, when it comes onto this, because I think that what ends up happening is that, I have a lot of friends that are Chinese, right? And, they're good people. They're not bad people. These are people that are very loving and smart individuals. And as a country, I don't know if I guess what we're trying to do is who are we punishing by boycotting it? The people or the country or the government? I mean, by boycotting this, we're saying that we don't agree with something. So what is it that we don't agree with? I mean, how are we so comfortable taking other material? Why are we comfortable buying other stuff for a cheap rate? But now you don't want to host the Olympics for the biggest distributor of goods in the world? Mm-hmm. I mean, that's kind of contradicting, right? We haven't won the trade war that we won. Biden
we won. We didn't win anything.
I'm sorry?
We won the trade war?
We didn't win the trade war? Trump didn't win the trade war?
I don't think there's anyone winning.
Trump didn't win the trade war?
No.
He didn't.
Tell me how we
that's not the
won
that's
the
not the
trade war.
conversation. I'm going to stick to Pat's.
I don't think there's been any winners in this trade war.
I'm going to stick to Pat's conversation. So the question becomes, we're okay doing business with them. We're okay taking their stuff. We're okay having our things made over there. But now you want to boycott the Olympics? Kind of crazy to me. I mean, I don't like a communist country any more than anybody else does, but I think it's contradicting as much dealings as he has and his son has with China, which are recorded, him being CEO, CFO, or chairman of one of the Chinese companies that paid him I don't know how many millions of dollars. Now you want to go act like you're mad at them? I'm not with it, bro. Pick a side and stick to it. That's my opinion.
To me, it's a couple different things. To me, one, I don't know about, maybe we flip and give somebody spot for 2022 and let the world calm down with China for a decade before we bring Olympics back to them. I think it's a little too sensitive. It's like a divorce that happens, and Christmas is around the corner, and you still expect the mom and dad and everybody to come together and spend Christmas together. It's a little fresh. It's a little fresh for us to do it. Let's give a little bit of time to get everybody to come together. Maybe a year from now, we'll come back and do this. We just had the world shut down because of China. Let's face it.
That's true.
We had the world shut down because of one country's lack of responsibility, that somehow, some way, a virus comes out of there and the world takes a hit because of it. Economy, jobs, restaurants, lives, people, loved ones, careers, wealth, all this stuff that's happened the last 12 months because of one country, and yet we want to keep it there for 2022. I'm not saying we permanently boycott it. I say you need a couple years, give it a couple seasons.
Postpone it.
I want to postpone them. I don't want to postpone the Olympics because it is unfair for the athlete. Listen, I watch when I see like when you were telling me the story the other day, you told the story to me. I took the story in a different way because I looked at you as my son. Not that you're my son. We're 2 years apart. When he told the story about, when the way Adrian said it, he was emotional because of how much he loves you. He said, look, we're living in Colorado. Adam wants to make a career in being a comedian. He wants to go out there and be a comedian and wants to make it into the NBA. So he's going out to playing ball, all this other stuff. He starts playing basketball with these guys that are Denver Nuggets guys. Then they say there's an open tryout. It's a D-League, whatever the league was for you to come through. So the same day you're going to go to the tryout, you tell Adrian, look, just come and pick me up at 9 o'clock. I got a flight at 1 o'clock. My dad's paying a flight. I haven't seen this guy for 4 years. I'm going to go to Vegas and spend time with him, right? The story you're telling. Yeah. So I'm just kind of like really curious with the story. So haven't seen Pops for a few years. You're going to go see him in Vegas. Your dad's obviously not here with us today, but you're going to go see him in Vegas. And but you're not like, I'm not going to make it to the NBA. Let's face it. I'm just going in there seeing what happens. So you go and then you text Adrian, you're like, dude, you won't believe it. I made it past the first round. Okay. And what are you talking about? Yeah, I'm going to the next one. So pick me up at 10 o'clock. And then you go and you play. You're killing it. And you make the second cut. Mm-hmm. Dude, what are you talking about? Dude, I'm still not going to make it. Just pick me up at 11 o'clock. You're going. You make it past the third. Just pick me up at the fourth. Fourth. And then you make it past fourth. You throw some lobs, dunks, all this stuff that's happening visually. He's selling it to me on what happened to it. And then finally, you're one cut away. Chauncey Billups' nephew apparently made it. I don't know who cousin makes it. And it could have been you. You're one cut away from playing for, being on a roster of the Denver Nuggets, having your own base basketball card, Adam Sosnick, okay? Wow. And then all of a sudden you run out and you say, I can't do it. You're running out to go see your dad. You chose dad over your sport. Mm-hmm. You're running out there. You see Kiki Vandeweghe. Yeah. He says, kid, what are you doing? You can actually have a shot. It says, listen, I'd love to do anything with the Denver organization. Give me your number. You exchange numbers. You get on the flight. You go to Vegas just to see your dad. And your dad says, what? What are you doing? You should have gone to the tryouts, right? But you wanted to go spend time with your dad. So what's the moral of the story? These kids have been training for years to go to the Olympics. We cannot punish them. Yes. It is not fair to punish the people that have been training the parents that took the kids to tryouts, to practice, the endless hours of clothes, driving them, traveling them, investment. It's a lot of pain. So the athlete cannot take the hit. So we can't cancel it. We simply have to relocate it to a different place. But we have to tell China, listen, it's sensitive right now. Mm-hmm. It is sensitive right now. We're not canceling you. We are postponing you. Let's let the dust settle. We'll come back 10 years from now and consider giving you the next slot when it opens up. Maybe in 2026, but just not in 2022. So let's pick a place that's done this before, Salt Lake City, Utah. Let's pick a place. There's plenty of places that have done the Winter Olympics before. Pick a country. Maybe it's last on the list. Bring them up right now. That's 20 years from now. Give them that slot. And then let's give them some of the commerce that people trust a little bit more, that they've handled COVID maybe better than some other countries have. And let's go over there. Okay, let's go over there. And by the way, then the challenge even becomes some countries that don't even want the Olympics to come to them. Japan may say, we've done it so right, I don't even want you to come into us. I get, of course, and I don't blame them, but you have a pool of countries that would say, we'll take it. I guarantee you there's 10 countries that would love to take them. I guarantee you Salt Lake City may sit there and say, look, if you want to come out here, we'll figure it out. If you want to go to New York and you want to go to, what's that city in New York where they practice?
Lake Placid?
Luge. Lake Placid. Yeah, Lake Placid. There is options. I just think it's sensitive. There's one group that I've been to Lake Placid, the whole luging place, I've been there before. The one community that cannot take a hit is the kids, the athlete,
Yeah, they've
the
been training
parents.
for it.
It's so emotional, man.
Yeah.
It is so emotional. So
Because we don't know if they'll make the cut the next year.
exactly.
You
It's
can't.
4 years.
So-
4 years is
so
a long time.
It's a once-in-a-lifetime type of thing.
Exactly. So anyways, we'll see what's going to happen with that, but that's my thoughts
But
as far as...
Biden doesn't have a history of caring about people anyway, so it doesn't really matter.
Don't offend Adam like that. Adam just officially
Well,
right now is
I
sorry for
infuriated.
offending you,
to
President.
chime in, I wholeheartedly agree with you.
Yeah.
It's a great story. I totally agree.
It's your story.
Thank you. I appreciate that. One cut away from the Nuggets Summer League team. But if we do this, it needs to be a collective decision. Biden can't be the one making this decision. And something tells me that I don't think it's gonna happen. China does need to pay a price. But by the way, there was just a report that just came out. WHO, I don't know how much stock you put into them. They came out and they said there's a very, very high likelihood that the COVID-19 virus came from the wet market, not a lab. Thoughts?
Do we really want to go there, buddy?
I just want to know your thoughts.
I mean, first of all, who funds the World Health Organization?
We
the
do.
most?
That's why no, China does, not us.
They're number one,
We
we're
used to
number
be.
two, right?
Yeah.
And Trump even pulled out, right? It's like,
Yes,
look, I don't even want to do
exactly.
anything. But,
Who?
you know, Biden's kind of
Yes.
coming back out.
A quote unquote independent report. We'll find the. Kai, maybe you can find the report. I just want to know the percentage.
I would
think.
love
Yeah.
if China wants us to really believe that. I would love open up social media, give freedom of speech, let people go in there and investigate from both sides of the aisle. Let us send some independent researchers there and talk to the folks and see what we can investigate. Until that happens, I don't believe any stories that comes out. That's where I stand with that. I don't care if it's World Health Organization, CDC. I don't care if it's anything, ABC. I'm not buying it. I'm buying an independent organization from both sides of the aisle that goes and audits. Do you know what's the biggest change? You know how you said, 50% of Republican men don't want to take the vaccine. Why don't they? Let's ask the question. Why don't they want to take it? Why don't 50% of
Key word is distrust, probably.
So where does distrust come from? Where does distrust come from?
Getting screwed over him to him.
I don't think it's screwed over. No, I don't even think it's screwed over. You know where my distrust comes from? Let me tell you where my distrust comes from. Here's where my distrust comes from. If somebody's watching this right now, people say, Adam soy boy, Adam this or Adam that. Dude, I love talking to people who are opposing opinions. It's my favorite people to talk. I love. You're respectful. You're amicable. We can sit down. We can have a conversation, and we enjoy it, and we go on, and it's great. Vanessa's here. She gave her opinions. I don't care if she agrees or disagrees. I love having her here. We have that kind of an environment. It's a safe space for us to have opposing views clash. Who learns? God willing, the audience says, today's session was great. I didn't know about that. I didn't know about that. I bet somebody today saying, dude, you got to go watch that immigration debate that took place. So you're learning, right? Here's the problem. Why half of Republican men that you're saying don't want to take the vaccine. Because the opposing argument has no voice today.
Yeah.
The opposing argument has been vilified.
Yep.
I contact Paul Offit to say, why don't you come and do a debate with somebody else that has an argument on the other side for vaccine? I contact all these guys. You know what's the first thing they say? No. I'll give you 10 grand. No. I'll give you $20,000.
Why
No.
is that?
I don't know. So even when the what do you call it? The fair is taking place, and Robert De Niro was at that one fair, and he's like, hey, the movie festival, and the vax thing got pulled the day before. Well, we just decided it wasn't something that we wanted to do. And Robert De Niro's like, why? You should watch this. It's actually good. Silenced, right? When an opposing argument is silenced, you lose credibility.
Yes.
So for me, when that is taking place, I have a problem with that. Okay, so when you're going back and saying, what do you think about World Health Organization saying this, that it came from a wet market, not the lab? I'm hearing one argument. Allow the other side to go do their own investigation, and then let us, the audience, go through the arguments and see who we want to believe. Let us do it, not you.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. I think that going back to what Pat said is, when you're canceling the president of the United States, the one that actually helped create the vaccine, I'm noticing that you're more of a community guy. You're not more of you don't believe in leadership too much, right? You believe that in communities. I believe in communities too, but I'm a big believer in leadership. That leaders are the ones that drive things. Obviously, because I lead an organization, I actually lead one of the best teams in the company, and I'm very blessed to say that because I'm honored to work beside professionals that are all leaders. I think that when it comes down to a subject like this, we have to really take a step back and analyze the whole thing, right? for example, what's your opinion on it when it comes down to what Pat was saying? What's your overall opinion on it?
On whether the COVID was created in the lab or
Yes.
in the wet market? The bottom line is we don't know, but I'm trusting.
No, hold on. But what's your?
I think there's a high likelihood that it came from this wet market and
Okay.
it traveled through animal through a bat. But am I dismissing the fact that China probably did something? No doubt China covered it up.
Right.
No doubt. I mean,
Okay.
we're not even going
Okay.
to play that game. China covered it up. They didn't let the world know this was happening. They
Okay.
didn't shut down airports.
So
they kept it under wraps. But
Right.
was it created in a lab? I don't
So
freaking know.
Pat said one time something very interesting. He says when somebody goes too hard the other side, the consequence is going to rebound the other way.
Yeah.
Right. So for example, he says he said a Clinton created a Bush created an Obama, and Obama created a Biden.
Yeah.
But a Biden is pushing so hard, so fast that he's these other guys subtly did it. Like Trump didn't. He was not subtle about him pushing people back. Neither is Biden. So so he's pushing so hard that we just have a huge distrust. First of all, because he's made comments, racist comments before, which they're documented. He called a certain community predators and then locked them up. Like there's so much distrust with him and everything that he says that it has nothing to do at this point. It has nothing to do with the vaccine and everything to do with him. We don't.
But if Trump created the vaccine, what does it have to do with Biden?
No, I get that. Well, but you don't believe that though because you just said it's a community.
You said a community.
You got to make a choice on what you believe. Okay.
You're crisscrossing here. If
I'm
Trump,
not crisscrossing.
You gave Trump props for creating the vaccine.
Yes.
But now you're saying we don't trust Biden because he's distributing the vaccine.
Right.
So which one is it?
No, I agree with you. The thing is with me is, I will not take that vaccine. Okay.
Because you distrust.
I just
Biden?
because I distrust the government. Period.
Okay.
Right, because they've lied to us multiple times. They've covered things up multiple times.
Trump was the head of the government for 4 years.
You don't understand. I'm not a totalitarian when it comes down to that. With Trump, I told you earlier. I like a lot of things that he did. It doesn't mean I fully agree with him. Right? I don't agree with the vaccine. Now, but hold on though. But do I understand that he had a responsibility to the world to come up with the vaccine? Yes, because the rest of the world are scared. He needed to find a solution for the people that are scared. Do I fully believe that he thinks that was the proper solution? No, but could he come out and say it? No, he couldn't come out and say, you don't need a vaccine, you're going to be all right. He can't do that as a world leader. He can't do that. So therefore, us that we support what he stood for, we can read between the lines and understand that he has a job to do, but this is one of the things that we're just not going to go with. I don't know if that makes sense what I'm saying or not.
That's fair.
Does it make sense or not? Did I confuse you? Or did it make sense?
You killed that argument.
No, I'm asking you.
Yeah, I'm with you. We're good.
So we know how to read between the lines.
Okay.
As a world leader, he needed to do something like that,
Fair
right?
enough.
Because everybody else was going to follow. Okay. It doesn't mean that us don't know how to read between the lines. We just trust. Anything that the Biden administration touches, I don't trust it. I don't care what it is. If they blink too many times, I don't trust them. I just don't. We're not going to tax the middle class. Now that they're talking about
if I said the same thing about Trump, anything that Trump does, I just trust. Anything he does, I just trust.
That's fine, bro.
Am I fair to say? Because I've never said that. But
Yeah,
you're
I
going.
just do.
You're going far right.
No, I'm not going
and you're
far right.
distrusting anything.
Everything has been lies. Everything's been a lie. How do you
Trump
want,
didn't
bro?
lie at all?
It's like having a dog bite you multiple times when it's in the kennel, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you're getting ready to adopt it, and then you're surprised when it bites you when you adopted him.
Okay.
The dog's bit many times already, many times in every category that you can imagine. Right, he was side by side with Robert Byrd, which I left the KKK. No, is that after LBJ, it was not okay to be a racist, bro. So you had to switch in order to get voted in. You didn't leave the KKK. You just wrote a book about leaving the KKK, how you regretted it, because we were progressing into a world where being part of the KKK and racist was no longer acceptable.
Who was part of the
Robert
KKK?
Byrd, Senator Robert Byrd, the one that died, and then they would give it that Obama and Clinton, and he'd give him a standing ovation. Right, he was in the KKK, openly KKK. Right, but as the time progresses, LBJ with the Great Society Act, which literally single-handedly caused father absence in the minority community. You cannot, excuse me, where we want to help. No, you don't want to help. You want to enslave. And you want to break the core of the family foundation. So I just don't trust them, bro. It's just years of lies and coming in and undoing. And look at our border. Look at the things that was going on with COVID. He's not going to the border, right? And it's a crisis. He's lying about the taxes. What am I supposed to do? Sit here and trust anything he says? I just can't, bro.
Okay, so you distrust anything that he does. Fair enough.
Let me read this to you about what happened with China and China. Taiwan accused China of trying to bribe Paraguay with COVID-19 vaccines to make it stop recognizing Taiwan. This is a story from Business Insider. Paraguay is one of the 15 nations that still recognize Taiwan as independent, and it is in dire need of vaccines. China has long insisted that Taiwan is part of China, though Taiwan has operated as its own country for decades. On Wednesday, Joseph Wu, Taiwan's foreign minister, said that China has sought to use the turmoil to pressure Paraguay into swearing publicly that Taiwan was part of China. He said the Chinese government was very active in saying if the Paraguay government is willing to sever diplomatic ties with Taiwan, they will be able to get quite a few million vaccine doses from China. Let me say this one more time. The Chinese government was very active in saying that if Paraguay government is willing to sever diplomatic ties with Taiwan, they will be able to get quite a few million vaccine doses from China. He went on to say that the Taiwanese government had reached out to Japan, the U.S., and India to ask for vaccines in an attempt to bat away from Beijing's advances. Last month, China's foreign ministry said it was providing 69 countries with free vaccines, and it was selling vaccines to 28 nations. Look, I mean, these guys are just pushing people around. And half these stories you read, like, is it true? Is it not true? You're probably leaning towards what? Yeah, it's probably true. Mm-hmm. And then the Tesla story with China, let me just bring it all together. Go to page 5 with the Tesla story. Yeah, the cameras,
yeah.
So now they are saying that Tesla is doing what? And Tesla comes back and says, listen, we want to reassure you that China, the cameras in its cars are turned off. This is a Fox Business story. Tesla has taken to social media to ensure customers in the country that the cameras installed in their cars are turned off. All Teslas have 8 external cameras that are primarily for their driving assist features, but can also record video, while the Model 3 and Model Y have also camera installed near the rear view mirror that can monitor the cabin. It was reported in March that Tesla has been banned from Chinese military complexes due to spying concerns. Tesla has begun to use the interior camera in North America to gather data on drivers' awareness related to the use of its full self-driving features. Elon Musk said that the several early access beta testers were barred of access to the latest version of the software for not paying sufficient attention to the road. They are so paranoid. Okay, they want control, control, and they don't want others to do to them what they're doing to the other nations. It's so interesting. They want to spy on everybody else, but they don't want it to happen to them, and they know when you're doing it to them. Very interesting culture that they have there.
But Tesla's going to play ball. I mean, they're not going to. They're eager to obviously get into China and sell their cars there. And so Elon Musk is going to, who's a true capitalist. I applaud Elon for everything he's done. But if he's going to get into China and try to make some money, he's going to play by their rules, don't you think?
Yeah, yes, absolutely, and absolutely, I agree with you there. We're gonna see what's gonna happen with those guys on the story. Hey, man, let me see this here. Give me a second here. We got something.
Ricky, while we're waiting, tell just in general how you feeling now. You're 33 now. You're here in Florida. You're here for how long?
Oh, I'll be gone today.
That's it. You're in, you're out.
You're
like
in,
Batman.
you're out.
Yeah,
really.
That's it. Yeah.
So 33 years old yesterday.
Yes, 33 years today.
Pretty crazy, man. Pretty crazy. So 33 years old yesterday.
Yeah.
What are you doing to celebrate for your birthday, bro? What are you doing, Ricky?
Oh, that's pretty cool.
Estas son las mañanitas que cantaba el rey David. Hoy por ser sus cumpleaños te las cantamos aquí. Despierta, mi bien, despierta. Mira que ya amaneció. Ya los pajarillos cantan. La luna ya se metió. Qué linda es venimos a cantar. Todos. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, Ricardo. Happy birthday to you. Que los cumplas feliz y que los vuelva a cumplir. Que los sigas cumpliendo hasta el año 100,000. Muy buenos días, señor Ricardo. Saludos.
El Rey.
Muy en especial en su cumpleaños, en su santo.
And by the
Dios lo
way,
bendiga.
El Rey, Erica just texted me. I asked Erica, what's Ricky's favorite mariachi song? She said El Rey. So I don't know what El Rey is, but there we
Eso
go.
es de parte del señor Patrick, bueno, y la compañía Entertainment.
Muchas gracias.
Bueno, Entertainment, ¿sí? ¿Lo dije bien?
Sí, sí.
Bueno, ok.
Uno más,
Y vamos con el rey, porque usted hoy es el rey.
Gracias,
Con todo
gracias.
gusto. Yo sé bien que estoy afuera, pero el día que yo me muera, sé que tendrás que llorar. Llorar y llorar. Llorar y llorar. Dirás que no me quisiste, pero vas a estar muy triste y así te vas a quedar. Con dinero y sin dinero, yo hago siempre lo que quiero y mi palabra es la ley. No tengo trono ni reina, ni nadie que me comprenda, pero sigo siendo el rey. Una piedra en el camino me enseñó que mi destino era rodar y rodar. Rodar y rodar, rodar y rodar. Después me dijo un arriero que no hay que llegar primero, sino hay que saber llegar. Con dinero y sin dinero hago siempre lo que quiero y mi palabra es la ley. No tengo trono ni reina, ni nadie que me comprenda, pero sigo siendo el rey. Que Dios lo bendiga y hasta una próxima.
Gracias,
Felicidades.
gracias.
Feliz cumpleaños, Ricardo.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Gracias.
Gracias.
Happy birthday to you, buddy.
Thank you. Appreciate it. What an awesome
Thank
surprise.
you. Bye-bye. Thank you so much.
Okay, Ricky, what are you gonna wish for,
Oh, it's gonna be for
bro? What are
you.
you gonna wish for, bro?
Hopefully one day Adam comes to his senses.
I don't think so, Ricky. I don't think so.
Did you
Thank you,
expect it?
Fat.
That's
No,
the
I
question.
did no,
Did you?
no.
That's great.
Not. I had no idea they had mariachi in Florida. You know, there's not a lot of Mexicans down
We
here.
had
you
to
know?
import them, bro.
Yeah, I know. Yeah,
They-
yeah, no
They
kidding.
came across the border.
You're
It's easier
so
these days.
funny.
Yeah.
You are so funny.
Thank you guys
You
so
are
much. I
so
appreciate it,
fun.
man. You guys have no idea how much I appreciate it. That's so freaking
Happy
cool,
birthday,
man.
buddy.
Thank you. I appreciate it. It's so awesome.
Again, gang, if you're following this, we put the Instagram account of Ricky below. Go follow him. Give him some love. If you enjoyed the discourse that we had today, make sure you do that. Look, I mean, we got a lot of different topics to choose right now to wrap up with. A lot of them. Let's give a shout out to Kim Kardashian finally being a billionaire, right?
Good
Kim
job.
Kardashian,
Good
shout
job
out
to
for
her.
being a billionaire. You know, Adam, I think more for you.
Mm-hmm.
You've spent some time with her. What do you think about her becoming a billionaire now? Kim Kardashian, officially.
Wow, congratulations, Kim. I've hung out with Kim a lot. I've hung out with your future governor, Bruce Jenner, Caitlyn Jenner, a lot. And she's a classy gal. I mean, she's more than anything going to influence all those Instagram models You know, there's hope for you too, ladies. You can twerk your way to the top, no problem. Whether it's a sex tape, whether it's business, whether it's social media, you
have
can
to throw
get
that
there.
in there. Good for you.
I'm just saying, we're stating facts here. So congratulations, Kim.
Yeah.
Got nothing but love for you, girl.
Yeah, you know, I'm gonna be honest with you. As far as how they started, I'm not a fan of that. I think it's a bad example to women. But, however, I will have to say that congratulations to her and her family for capitalizing on it. Right? They didn't just live that 15 minute of fame. They were actually able to create an empire. So, you know, like I said, I'm not fond of it because of how they started. I don't want my daughters to ever look up to that example. But as far as what she was able to do, and becoming a millionaire is not easy, let alone a billionaire. That takes strategy. That takes making the right decisions. That takes, you know, it's a whole different level of mindset. So for her to be able to do that, congratulations to her and her family. No doubt about it.
Before I forget, in honor of Ricky's birthday,
It's
here at
also Mickey's
Valuetainment-
birthday.
Is it Mickey's birthday?
It's also
too?
Mickey's birthday.
Mickey and Ricky.
Mickey.
Feliz cumpleaños.
Happy birthday,
But quick
Mickey.
shout out to
Yes.
obviously Valuetainment, but también Valuetainment Español. It's a new channel that we launched.
Yep, that's true.
So I know you
Yes.
might have some say on that channel.
Yeah.
But shout out to our friend Eric Kiki Galera, who's heading up the channel with that. But shout out to Valuetainment Español. If you speak Spanish and you want to see Pat speak Spanish on entrepreneurship,
It's
check out
not even,
Valuetainment
yeah,
Español.
so all the content's being translated into Spanish,
Yes.
and shout out to Eric. He's doing a phenomenal job. Eric's doing a phenomenal job on a lot of different ends. I'm a big fan of Eric.
Yes.
His level of work ethic right now, former Marine, the guy's kicking some major tail. Proud of Leo Roy, those guys, what they're doing. But Valuetainment Spanish, we may be having Ricky have do something with Valuetainment Spanish. We had the conversation together, you and I. Where were we when we talked about? Were we in Hawaii?
I think we were in Hawaii.
We were in Hawaii when we talked about
yes.
that. So it's going to be exciting to see
Yeah,
what happens.
I'm
Stay
excited
tuned for that.
I'm so excited for that.
But having said that, gang, it's coming close to 11 o'clock. Here's what I may do next week. I may do next week on Tuesday, okay? I mean, I don't even know if the building's going to be okay with this, but I may do next Tuesday, I may reveal the bike I just bought.
Oh,
okay?
my God.
I may
That'd be
bring it
so
here.
cool.
So if you haven't seen it yet, it's a ridiculous. I've been... This
Ducati?
weekend, I better show it to you. But when you see it, it's freaking. What time's your flight today, by the way?
That's all 5.
Okay, so if I go there, you know what? I may even take you to show a couple homes that we're looking at. I
Okay,
may take you with
perfect.
me.
Yeah,
I'll
we
look
got
at-
time. Yeah, we got time.
Shoot, your flight's at 5.
Yeah.
Okay, so I can't show you the bike, but I'll. Okay, we'll do. We'll talk about what we're gonna do with that. But anyways, next Tuesday, you may want to join the podcast because next Tuesday, I may pull up the entire bike here. We're gonna bring the camera on to see it. Listen. It is so ridiculous how beautiful this bike is. I mean, you were the first person that saw it when we
I
bought
was
it
there
together.
when you bought it.
It's a ridiculous.
Is it a 1099?
This
bike.
guy just swiped
You
his credit
gotta
card, took
see
out a
what this-
$50,000 bike.
It was
like
so
it was
funny. The
nothing.
guy's like, "You're gonna put it on the comments."
Yeah, just put it right on the card.
But when you see the bike,
They're
fat,
beautiful.
it's sexy, it's gorgeous, it's beautiful, and it'll be revealed next Tuesday. And
that bike and Kim Kardashian do have a lot of similarities, if you know what I'm talking about.
Well, this one
From
is
the-
more on
from
the
the
front,
booty,
not
from
the
the booty,
back.
from
Yeah,
the
then we'll see. I mean, we'll definitely
Yeah.
take different angles for you to be pleased with
Yes.
that. But there's a bigger surprise
either
after
one.
that.
Ooh.
There's a bigger surprise
Ooh.
after that, which will be. It's pretty crazy, Ricky, what's going on. But
Do you wanna
anyways,
reveal any of that,
Nah,
or-
no.
okay.
Next Tuesday, don't miss the podcast because I'm going to put it right there,
Yeah.
and we'll show the whole thing next Tuesday. Having said that, Ricky,
Thank
thanks
you
for
so
coming
much,
out.
brother.
Really
Happy
enjoyed
birthday,
having you,
Ricky,
buddy.
Thank
we've
you.
enjoyed this.
Yes,
it's good to see
really
Republicans and
enjoyed.
Right here.
This
Two
is
birds.
America.
If it's too
Independent,
far
Democrat,
right,
Republican
if it's
having a
too
conversation.
far left, you're going off track.
Yes.
So let's meet somewhere in the middle.
We'll
right
see you
here on
guys next
Valuetainment.
Tuesday. If you enjoyed it, subscribe and click that notification button. Take care, everybody.
Take care,
Bye.